Earth is very flat.
What's up, guys? It is Tuesday, February 23rd. This is Brandon, host of Brandon's Show. Hope everybody's doing good out there. Let me start off by saying hello to everybody. YouTube, what's up, man? Ian Adams, almost unbelievable. Ranty, if you haven't checked out his new channel, almost unbelievable, go check it out. D. Ross, page 42, flat for life. Well, that's it so far. Oh, Bill G. What's up, Bill G? In at the last second. Hope everybody's doing good. And actually, I have the link to Randy's new channel somewhere. Well, he can post it. Yeah, post your link, Ranty. Let's get you some more. Oh, here it is. Fuck it, I got it. I got it. Here we go. There's your link. Go check it out. All right, let's see, what else do I gotta tell you? Yes, Streamlabs, I'll put the link at the top. If you want to support the show, you can click the link and do it through Streamlabs, or Super Chat is welcome, and I'll read your comments. Always appreciated. And then we're trying something new with the Crypto tab. I'll show you that a little later in the show, Crypto tab browser. We don't need to go into that right now. We've got a couple people in Discord already. And to be honest, I don't have much lined up for tonight. So hopefully we have some people come in. I do have one thing. Travis has got a presentation again he's going to give. I think he's got a 15-minute analysis. So we'll take a look at that and see what happens. We'll go from there. Yeah, I've been pretty busy, so I don't have much for you. But when has that ever stopped us before? We'll get there. All right, let's go to Discord. What's up, guys? Hello?
What's up? Research? What's that?
Shit, that was the wrong channel. That's the second time I've done that in the last week. What's up, guys?
If he's like, oh, I'm going to go over this. Oh, what's up, Brandon?
No, sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
Hey, man.
We were talking mad shit about you just
What's
now.
your problem, Brandon? Interrupting.
Sorry about
What's
that.
the big deal? What's the big idea?
I just spoke. Well, here's what happened. I got all flustered because I clicked my mic off and forgot that I was in a different channel and started talking like I was on the show over in the other channel.
Were you in Gems?
Yeah.
Who do you think you are jumping in here acting like you own the place?
That's twice you
That's
did
like
that.
the second day in a row you've done that.
I
Yeah,
know.
Montreal.
Right.
You know, because I use them for my sound check because there's always somebody in there talking. So before the show, I just click on that and do my sound check with my microphone. Yeah, believe it or not, I do check my sound on my microphone before the show. But so I clicked in there. I go, "What's up, guys? How's it going?" No one said anything for like 3-4 seconds. Then some, hello? Like they were really confused. What?
Were you listening to the gravity discussion, Brandon?
No,
At all
I've
today?
been so busy all day. I didn't have time to listen to anything really.
Did you get them on your skateboard paradox again in Montreal?
Oh, they were going crazy today, bro. They were going crazy. Yeah, skateboard, gravity. Yeah.
So what was going on with gravity? What was the topic of discussion?
Well, I was trying to explain to them two gravities, and they just don't get it, or double speak, or no, we can reduce it to one gravity, and the story.
The gravity discussion has to be broken down to like a titty bar level. You know how gravity affects titties and stuff.
Yeah. And they were making fun of my skateboard paradox, the usual stuff.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, they think that's pretty funny, your skateboard paradox.
Yeah, they don't realize the joke's on them.
Why don't you just actually describe it for the audience? Because probably many people in here haven't heard it.
Sure, I'd be glad to. Well, we know Soundly, right? He has the famous picture. And he has the bridge there, the Lake Pontchartrain Causeway Bridge.
The banana can curve. The banana can.
Yeah. So we've asked them many times, right? And they say many times, "Oh, you dumb flat earthers, there's curve. Look, there's actual curve there. What are you talking about? There's no curve. Here's the proof." So I asked him, myself just to make sure, is there an actual curve there? And he says yes. And then after, he even said there's 28-meter hump. So the skateboard paradox is kind of like making fun of that in a way, in a form of a question. I put to them, okay, on the apex there at the 28-meter where the curve is, the hump, if I was to put you on a skateboard and just give you a gentle tug, what would happen to you?
You'd go down the hill, right?
Yeah, you would think so, right? Yeah. But you know what their answer is? Well, of course you don't go down the hill because there's gravitational potential making you go straight. Like, yeah, exactly that.
Yeah, right. Because in their model there is no hill. It's curved as flat, so it's just normal, or curved as level.
Could you imagine being a grown adult saying curved is flat?
Oh,
Yeah,
man.
they say that all the time when we talk about the paradox. They have to. They have to. They don't realize that.
So don't you
Fucking
think when
embarrassing.
those
That
words
word
come out of
adult
your mouth?
very lightly there, Jeremy, or very, very generously.
What's up?
I think you might be using that word adult very generously.
As an old person, yeah.
And you don't have to imagine people saying it, Jeremy. People are saying it.
I know.
They
but
were
I
just
couldn't
saying it
imagine
before.
myself
They were
saying it,
telling
yeah.
me that curved is straight with a straight face. They were actually saying that.
I'd feel stupid if I said that afterwards. I'd be like, did I really just say that? No, I couldn't have said that.
You would think you would stop and think to yourself, okay, I just said something that's totally contradictory. Am I sure I really believe this?
Yeah.
But when
You
you're
guys
in a room
are-
of 40 people and they're agreeing with you, yeah, you're right, you might just start believing it.
That's what the whole Emperor's New Clothes thing. You guys are talking about that exact same allegory, that the child understands that curved is not straight, but all of the adults are looking at the Emperor going, he's not naked, he's got clothes on, I can see them. And then the child just goes, what the fuck? I don't see any clothes, but everybody else is crazy, so I might as well join the bandwagon.
Well said, Travis. Yep.
Yeah, that pretty much describes the entire globe, especially since we can't find any curvature.
Well, to Soundly's Bridge, remember we were talking about those humps in it where it looks like the cars are going up at a 90-degree angle almost, 75 degrees something, a very hard pitch that a car obviously would not be able to get over. And that just goes to show you what you're seeing right there isn't what's really going on, because we know the bridge isn't angled like that at those points. So it's nonsense.
Yeah, it's just optics. It's all optical, that whole bridge thing. I'm more and more convinced of
Yeah.
that, especially since Travis's work that he did when he was there in his analysis.
I've been telling them that for the longest time. Those points on the bridge where it looks like there's a 70, 80-degree angle is a dead giveaway that what you're seeing is not actually what's going on. That bridge is not pitched like that. A car couldn't get over it.
Yeah, and they
Anyways.
just tell you it's just the angle that you're looking at, which is true, but it's still
That's my
distorted. Yeah,
My argument, the angle that we're seeing it at.
right. Yeah, there's a lot of stuff going on. I mean, when you think about how far you're looking over, you not very often do you get to look over an expanse that doesn't have any obstruction in the way that far, unless you're by the ocean or whatever. But the ocean usually doesn't have a bridge that goes out 20 plus miles.
With humps and stuff in it that we know the dimensions of, yeah.
Yeah, so it's a pretty rare situation where you can look out and see a physical object that's roughly the same height above the surface that goes out 20 some miles. So what do we have to compare it to? If we knew that the bridge was flat, which obviously I believe it's flat, but if we had empirical data that said, yes, this is flat, there is no curvature, we looked for curvature, and here we measured no curvature, which we do in reality, but you know what I'm saying. We could compare it to something and say, okay, something that's 20 miles long through the atmosphere that's straight should look like this, and this looks like this. So, but we don't even have anything to compare it to.
Just those points in the bridge where it looks like there's like a 75-degree angle. That's enough to me to tell me that what I'm seeing right here is not an accurate representation of reality. So to say there's a curve at the end is just would be nonsense for me to admit, to even think that as an adult.
Yeah, and there's so much going on at the end of that bridge where it terminates with the atmosphere, and Travis showed us those miraging that kind of ramps up as you go further out. You can see the cars just kind of floating across the top above the surface. What the fuck was I gonna say? Shit, I just completely lost my train of thought.
That place is infamous for temperature inversion.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. There's so much shit going on there at the end. How can you rely on any information you get, especially the light coming from that area? You know that it's being impacted by the atmosphere. You know all this shit is happening. So you're going to base your opinion on what shape it is by how it looks? No, you can't do that.
I'm sorry, I cleared my throat. I've said this before, but I'll say it again because it bears repeating. It's my opinion that the terminology of temperature inversion is complete bullshit. So in the research that I've done with Andrew Thomas Young and other citations that he has, and when I look those things up, they're looking at a phenomenon that is caused by refraction. So they have an inferior mirage. The inferior mirage is an inverted image. So they think to themselves, how is that happening? Maybe the temperature is inverted. So they come up and label temperature inversion. They have
don't they have data?
They have no proof. I haven't seen it. I haven't seen it. That's what we're talking about that's what we're talking about when we're talking about taking the profile over distance. And what does even a temperature inversion mean? What does that even mean? Right? So I went out.
It means that normally you have the air is hotter on the bottom and it gets colder as you go up.
Show me that.
But in this temperature inversion, it's the opposite of that.
No. Show me the first premise, where it's hotter at the bottom and colder at the top.
Well, that's how it usually is on Earth, no?
Okay, are we talking? Okay, look, if you're talking about if you're talking about going up 1,400 feet, okay, we're not talking about 1,400 feet of a gradient. We're talking about looking over. I'm standing at 5'10", so my visibility doesn't get any higher than that. So my profile is 5 feet and lower, right? But as you go out, and that whole system is dynamic, there's no inversion. There's no like 45 degrees for 2 inches, and then all of a sudden it flips to 33 degrees for 6 inches, and then it flips over. I'm just telling you, listen, they have no data for this. None. They just see an observation, and then they classify it as a temperature inversion, and then they make up their model based on that, and then they draw you pictures. And then when I say to Andrew Thomas Young, hey, you got any real-life photos that you can show me what this looks like? Nothing. No, but I could draw you a picture. Look, these ray diagrams, I'm showing you what the ray diagrams do. I'm showing you what the profile looks. So the diagram is your proof? The diagram is your empirical scientific data? No. Okay, look, I'm just calling it. Temperature inversion is bullshit.
Would you agree that the normal state of things it's hotter on the bottom and then it gets colder as you go up?
Okay, I can be comfortable with that, but then can you show me when it's colder at the bottom and hotter at the top? Because that would be an inversion, right? So
that's what we're talking about. Yes, the inversion.
Okay, show me that. Show it to me.
They have. Okay? I mean, do you need the data from the place, or
do you have anything, Jeremy, that you would consider a scientific validation for the claim?
This isn't science. This is just measurements of temperature. This has nothing to do with
okay,
science.
I'm not QE, okay? So science means knowledge. That's all it means. So we're talking about
All
gaining
right.
a knowledge. We're talking about gaining a knowledge of our world. Okay.
Sure. So you need the temperature measurements. Is that what you need to know that this happens, or?
Okay. Okay. If you're going to start off with the premise that under normal circumstances, the layers of the air closest to the ground are warmer than those above, I'm comfortable with that so far. Good.
Yeah.
Then when you say, but in certain anomalies, in certain unnatural, atypical situations, when you get an inferior mirage, the cold air is on the bottom. You show that to me.
So you want the data measurement, the temperature measurements.
I don't think this is very difficult. Why are you asking me a question?
You're saying show it to me. So how would I show that to you? Do you need the temperature measurement?
How are you going to make a claim that you think that the cold air is at the bottom now and the warm air is at the top? Where's your evidence for that claim?
The evidence would be in the temperature measurements. Is that what you want to see, or?
Okay, so I think that you just answered your own question. The only way you can claim that there is an inverted temperature gradient is if you're out there and you've got a measurement at 6 feet and it's 70 degrees, and you've got a measurement at the water and it's 50 degrees.
Sure,
Yeah.
I'll get you the temperature measurements. That's fine.
Well, you're better than Rumpus. I've been asking him for that for who knows how long.
Did he ever? Has he given you that citation?
Nope.
Oh.
Nope.
Oh.
Nope.
Hey, Rumpus, when are you going to give that citation to Travis? You said a couple
Please
days.
don't mention that name.
Huh. He hasn't been in here for a couple days.
Praise Allah.
And that's good, right?
Yeah. We had quite a bit of him there for a few days, so I think we're good for now.
Yeah.
I'm sharing my screen. Did you guys see this video? Life on Mars. Yeah,
That was a good TV series.
no, I guess they found some footage. See what you guys think. If this Ian Adams sent this to me. See if you guys think that this is some kind of life form or not. Can you see it?
I can see the image, but it's just still.
Can you zoom in?
I can zoom in some. Hold on just 1 second. Let me make it, because I want the audience to see it. It's either you get a shitty view or they get a shitty view. But I think I can fix that. All right.
So what are
there
we
go.
looking for?
Can you see it now?
No.
You can't?
All I see are rocks.
Yeah, that's what you should see right now. You can just see my screen though, right?
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, then I thought you were asking
We
me-
see your screen. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
That's
wait
all
a
I was
minute.
asking.
Oh, wait a minute. Is there like a flower there?
No, I'm going to press play. I haven't pressed played yet. And tell me if you spot a life form in this. I want to see if you guys can spot it. All right, here we go.
Oh, you're joking. You're not kidding me.
You're kidding, right? Good one, bro.
You know.
I thought you were gonna show Bernie or something.
What are you guys laughing at? What? I don't see are rocks.
You must have a delay, Travis.
No, I'm teasing.
Go.
I'm just teasing.
Okay, so you guys spotted it, huh? All right. Yeah, so that was from Ian Adams. Good call, Ian. That was a pretty funny one. That's from the last. Actually, I was looking at the date. It's from like 2012. I'm surprised we've never seen that before. But I haven't heard any recent news from Perseverance. But I was getting some comments in the Discord saying, "How are you going to deal with the how are you going to deal with the Mars footage, huh? How are you handling it?" Like I should be totally upset or beside myself because of this Mars
The Earth
footage.
is very flat.
Like it's just gonna wreck
We're handling
my
it with
worldview.
laughter. That's how we're handling it.
Just tell them that when we get some, we'll deal with it then.
Yeah, right. I can't remember what I said, but I was just thinking to myself, do you think that we've never seen this shit that NASA puts out? I mean, this is like the first time, like each new time that there's people who think, well, SpaceX, the SpaceX this time when the rocket makes it and docks with the space station, that's going to crush flat Earth. It's like, no, if they're faking it before, then why would this new time make me think anything new? What are they going to do that's special that would make me think, yes, this is 100% real? I don't know. Is there something NASA could show you guys that would make you go, oh yeah, whoops, I believe them now, Earth's a ball? No?
Nope. Only one of us that we trust with a camera from takeoff to orbit, then we'll believe it.
Even then, like I wouldn't necessarily believe it. I might lend more credence to the idea. I mean, if they could show like a spinning ball in a vacuum with water sticking to it, like even that wouldn't make me believe that the Earth is a ball, but it would at least get me to the point of, okay, maybe it could be a ball. At the very least, that would get me to lend credence to the idea. Right now, I don't lend it any credence whatsoever because it's retarded. But if they could demonstrate something showing that it's at least maybe possible, then I might consider it. But I wouldn't just flat out believe it with any one piece.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of something that they could show us that would make me trust what they're showing me. And at this point, I just don't think that there is anything, because everything can be fake.
Brandon, we have the Space Hotel coming up, right? This year?
Yeah. Supposedly.
So, after numerous, sooner or later, right? But it still hasn't been here.
Yeah, what's going on with that Space Hotel? What's the latest news? Is that pushed out yet?
I haven't heard anything. The last I heard was 2021. It's gonna dock onto the ISS, and I have I have 2 pics. I'm gonna post them.
Okay.
Think about this.
Is there going to be?
If somebody spent like decades learning and honing their magic tricks with cards, okay, and they just that's what they spent for decades, just getting their craft down perfect. It just you can't see any sleight of hand. No one knows what's going on. This guy is like basically the best card trick magician in the whole world, okay? And one day they come to you and they tell you, okay, but this time I'm going to actually make the card disappear from my hand and appear in your pocket. No tricks or anything. I'm just going to do that for real. It's going to be real this time. Even if they did something that looked like they accomplished that task, would you believe them?
No, good analogy. Yeah, no, I wouldn't.
So even if they showed you right in front of your face exactly what looked like them teleporting the card from their hand into your pocket, you're still going to spend the rest of your life wondering how they did it because of their history, right?
Yeah, of course.
Check the general, Brandon. I posted the Space Hotel.
So is this
The
Space Hotel
design
going to
by
be
a French
listed on
designer and
Airbnb?
everything. Sorry?
I said, is this Space Hotel Montreal going to be listed on Airbnb?
I believe so, yeah. Yeah.
Well, there you go. Or is it going to be called Space
No,
B&B?
It'll be called airless.
Yeah.
Like, seriously.
I suggest you bring your own pillows and sheets if you stay there.
No, it's wall-to-wall pillow. Check it out, Brandon. You see the picture?
It does look pretty
It looks
cushy.
it looks like a padded cell for crazy people.
Right,
That's what it looks like.
Yeah, exactly. I was waiting when somebody was going to say that.
Room.
Because you've got to be crazy to think that you're even there. Look at the Earth there in the doorway or the window.
All right, everybody who thinks space is real, pile into the capsule. Don't worry, there's padded walls for every one of you.
I saw this other article says 2022 now they're talking about. I don't know if this is
Oh
the
no,
same
not
one.
another delay. Say it ain't so, Brandon.
A Houston-based startup called Orion Span has proposed a 4-guest space hotel called Aurora Station. And then, NASA says it'll open the International Space Station to tourists as early as 2020. Oh, this is an old article from 2019. I don't think they did
Well,
that.
that didn't happen, eh?
No, that didn't happen. We should go back
Wow,
and
I'm
look at
surprised.
articles from the past and see all the delays.
Weren't they talking about decommissioning the ISS not so long ago?
I don't
It's
remember
going
that.
down
Don't be
with my money.
silly. Still has a long way to go.
Of course, they last forever. It never wears out, Montreal.
Exactly.
I donated $17 trillion to your company. Why isn't the hotel completed yet? Well, sir, it turns out to make a hotel in space, you're going to have to build space first.
Good one, Bob. This pesky thing we call the vacuum. I don't know, boss.
So there's another foundation for normal vacations, this is saying. And it is going to open something called the Von Braun Rotating Space Station.
Sure.
Yep. The foundation aims to assemble the facility in orbit by 2025 and open to visitors in 2027 or soon after. That soon after could be forever.
Hey, Brandon, they could be in a pinch as far as decommissioning the ISS, because what if we still see it up there? I'll believe that it's up there the way they claim it to be when I see it coming in, burning through the atmosphere. They could be in a pinch because they done had everybody see it and watching it go by and timed it and mapped it out, and now they're stuck with it. You see what I'm saying?
That's true. If that theory about it being like a natural celestial object that they just kind of co-opted or whatever, that would that would put them in a pickle for sure. But what happened?
Hey,
Did
Brandon.
you see the old one? What was the one that they had previous to the ISS? The one that crashed down in Australia.
What you call it? Yeah, well, the one guy found the mirror in all the other space, all the other not all of them, but a lot of the rocket launches tied into the balloon launch schedules. I forgot the guy's name, man, but if anybody could help me out, the guy who found the
Dwayne Kellum?
the balloon launch commission.
Dwayne Kellum?
No, not Dwayne Kellum, man. The guy who was on with Quantum Eraser a while back. The guy who was going to college for like, oh my God.
Yeah, I know who you're talking about. He was the one who called NASA that one time and talked to him, right? About Sophia.
He made a couple phone calls.
Yeah, that was good stuff. I can't remember his name though. Maybe somebody in the audience will.
Robert Bassano.
Yeah, that's it. Robert Bassano. Yeah.
That's it.
Was
Thank you, Travis.
Was it Skylab or something that crashed in Australia, I think, years ago?
Yeah, it was Skylab. Yeah.
Oh.
Could you see that in the sky like you can see the ISS? Is there like ground footage of Skylab?
Don't know. It's a long time ago, Brandon. It's like 30 or 40 years ago, I think.
I don't remember no app for it to find it in the sky, but I'll tell you this though. I mean, well, from what they say, the orbit would degrade within a couple years. So if they decommission the ISS, it wouldn't be long before it would have to come falling out, right? You know.
Well, the thing about
They're stuck with their
Skylab,
stories. My point is, they're stuck with their stories, man.
yeah, the Skylab, what was it there? One of those taco houses, Taco Bell, offered $1 million to anyone who could predict where it would crash down. And all that nonsense, you know.
$1 million, huh?
Yeah.
Could you take it in tacos?
Well, they used to give free tacos to people who would have their tattoo of their logo and stuff put on their arms. You could get free tacos.
They stopped doing that? Did you get your
I think
Taco
so.
Bell tattoo covered up at when they stopped, or you still got it?
Oh no, laser removed. You're not covered up. Removed
Okay.
by lasers.
Makes
Come on.
sense. You want to, yeah.
But yeah, kids would get tattooed, sort of illegally sometimes just to get that deal. So sort of bad.
Oh, can you imagine your
Hey,
kid
Brandon.
comes home, I got a tattoo. It's Taco Bell.
Yeah, I get to eat free every day now.
Hey, can I mirror that part, Brandon? Could I make a video? Could I mirror that part with the life on Mars, bro? That was freaking instant classic, dude. That's hilarious.
Yeah, go for it, man. Yeah, I don't mind. Anybody can mirror anything from my from our shows anytime. I don't mind at all.
Hey, but what about the real story with the guy who went over examining the footage? He worked for NASA, and he was one of the people in charge of going over the footage of the feedback from the rovers, both of them, I think, or one of the two, and he seen some mushrooms. And he's sitting there freaking out. He's not freaking out, but he thinks that, hey, he discovered life on Mars. Look, here's mushrooms today that weren't there yesterday. And he's getting blown off by these people. And they're telling him, no, it ain't nothing, And he's taking it up the ladder. And they're pretty much writing him off. And I don't know if I'm telling this story exact, but the way I remember it is, he's making a big deal out of this. And this guy's serious because he thinks this lander is actually on Mars. And he's wondering why his authorities are blowing it off, and when he's got proof of life on Mars, and he's taking it to the people who know that it's not actually on Mars, right?
He's got proof he's delusional, and the people that he's trying to push this on are just as delusional as him or no better. So it don't matter if they brush him off.
Right.
Well, the point is, if he takes it to well, that's not fair. I mean, it's just sad, man. This guy is running part of a project, and he's not one of the couple people who know the son of a bitch is in Greenland or wherever, and he thinks he's made a major discovery. And
he's judged by his peers. If his peers say, "Well, we collectively believe in our unicorns, and you can go to hell," the same will happen in the court as in the science community. You go to hell,
that's not my point, man. That's not my point. This guy thinks that it's really there on Mars, dude. It's like getting a lot. It's like somebody giving you a lottery ticket and saying, here's 100 free lottery tickets, and bam, your numbers hit. But you can't do nothing with the ticket. You thought it was real. I mean, this guy thought it was real, and come to find out, and he's fighting for it. Like, why has nobody, saying nothing? Why are they suppressing me? And why are they blocking all this stuff when he thinks his name's going to go down in history? He thinks he's part of the team that discovered life on Mars because here's a mushroom that wasn't there the day before, and it's getting blown off and suppressed and shit. Now you don't hear nothing about it. It's sad, man, that shit like that when you think about it, man.
It is sad. Just like the guy who wrote a whole book about the fossils on Mars that he could see in the rocks. So same kind of deal there. I mean, he's so convinced that this thing's actually on Mars and he's seeing these fossils. I wonder if it ever occurred to him that they could possibly be faking it on Earth, and that's why he's seeing the same seashells that he sees on Earth. But then they got to concoct some fucking story about Mars and Earth colliding or some stupid crap.
Yeah. Yeah, and it wouldn't have occurred to me, man, when I was asleep. I wouldn't even have thought of the possibility that there ain't a Mars. I wouldn't even consider that. At least now, whatever the case is, I got an open mind to possibilities of reality. But when I was asleep, I wouldn't have. But I was going to say, I'd be surprised. Why don't they start off with step one? Why don't y'all prove that, if they're listening, why don't y'all prove that y'all could send a rover to Antarctica even from say Florida, or from Houston. Let's prove that you could launch a rover.
It's too cold
from here to Antarctica even.
That's an interesting idea. Yeah, just show us that you can do that Mars rover thing here on Earth. Have they ever done that? I mean, did they?
No,
they didn't test that thing fully. Test that thing out
for us to be able to do that. Otherwise, the wind and other elements would prevent us. It has to be a near vacuum for us to go to the Antarctica. That's why it works on planets out in the cosmos and not here.
Yeah, and parachutes work there too. Yeah, and they got their parachutes in a vacuum. They're just 500 times bigger. What the f? But
drones that are working and no air.
my point is they probably, they probably did manage to get a remote controller or something like that they could control in intervals, and way up north in Greenland or and maybe Antarctica, and that it would be a big accomplishment. I don't know that they could do that. Yeah, that they need to do something like that. Maybe that was their breakthrough, and that'd be a big accomplishment. But yeah, I don't know, man. I don't even know.
Dude, listen to this. On Mars, it's a whole different climate, supposedly. However, our temperatures range from around negative 220 degrees Fahrenheit in the wintertime at the poles to positive 70. That takes some pretty good engineering to create a little robot that could handle those kind of temperature swings, I'm sure. But yeah,
how do they work their compass? Is there a magnetic?
It should work on Antarctica if it can handle that.
Is there a magnetic north pole on Mars? Do they have a molten iron core there too? How do they map? How are they working? I don't know. There's so many questions. I don't even know where to start.
Yeah, I haven't looked too much into Mars, to be honest with you. Has never really interested me more than to watch a couple movies that are out about it. But I don't know. I think it's just made up stories.
Wait till they get.
I still enjoy the
helicopter
movies,
flying.
man. Sorry, go ahead, I see.
I was just gonna say, wait till they get the helicopter flying.
There's literally a temperature inversion. Oh, my bad. Are you guys in the middle of something right now?
We were, but go ahead.
No, I was gonna say there's a temperature inversion happening
What about
right
it?
now. It's happening right now at Lake Pontchartrain. Usually happens twice a day, I think they said. But
It is so nice here down here. I'm not too far from there, a few hours, but it is so nice. There ain't a cloud in the sky.
Yeah.
It's the clearest, most beautiful weather. I just got done working.
the current water temperature at Lake Pontchartrain is 53 degrees.
Damn.
Oh, that's Celsius. No, it's in Fahrenheit. And the air temperature is 61. There's your temperature inversion.
There you go. I'd like to see an ISS Passover right now where in Florida, the state of Florida, ain't a cloud in the sky. There ain't it's just, there ain't even a spot of cotton up there. It's totally clear as far as the eye can see driving up 95 north. And I bet when the ISS goes by, they show a big cloud infested Florida as usual.
Yeah, right. Compare it. I'm just reading out some factoids about Mars. Did you see the footage, Brian? The little Perseverance rover footage?
I've seen a little bit of it, man. I was pretty busy, but I don't know, man. It's hard to I don't know, man. Like I said, one step at a time. They're gonna have to prove to me they can even land some shit on Greenland or Antarctica before I even believe they could do it out of our existence somewhere.
Hey, Brandon, I spotted life on Mars.
You did?
Check out the general.
Let's see here. Oh, there we go. What is this thing? Is this some testing environment that they have or what?
Yep, and it looks just like Mars. Check it out.
Yeah, what's up with all these side-by-side photos I keep seeing of Mars and Greenland or Devon Island side by side where it's the exact same terrain features, only one's tinted red. You guys ever see that?
I have seen that.
No, you see.
Yeah. I don't know too much about it though. I never went and confirmed
Jeremy,
it myself.
you just don't understand, all right?
Ah, son of a bitch. I wish I understood one day.
So
Yeah,
anyway,
So you see
Rabbit
that
still here?
studio there? If they were to film a sequence there, who would know the difference?
Nobody would. Jeranism caught them playing games with their little rover on Google Earth. Remember that video Jeranism put out?
Yeah, he matched the background. He matched the background perfectly. I seen that.
Yeah, I have a picture of that. Let's see if I can find it.
I think that's what you were just talking about, Jaren. The side by side. If I remember correctly. Yeah, it's been a while since I've seen that that episode, but that,
Well,
was, that
Jared-
was a
no.
good video from Jaron.
Yeah, Jaron caught him out there playing around with the Rover and all the NASA vans and shit. You know, I don't know if he did a side-by-side thing. I've seen those all over the place, though. I've seen a bunch of those side-by-side ones where the terrain exactly matches Earth. But when you tint it red, but
I just
NASA's
posted
giving
one.
us, yeah, but NASA's giving us the shit saying that it's on Mars, but it matches Earth perfectly. Like, that's too much of a coincidence.
Check it out. How much of a coincidence?
Well, the only
It's no,
Check
it's
out
not.
General.
It's too much of a coincidence. It's not a coincidence.
the only problem I have with this is it really part of Ireland, and is this really a picture from NASA?
NASA of Mars, yeah.
Because this says NASA training course Mars photography, so it was just some bullshit that they pulled together for like a training video or something, or is it legit something that they said was from Mars?
I can't say. I know it's just this is the picture that's been spread around. I can't really say either way.
You wouldn't think at this point they'd be that stupid, but maybe a few years ago they weren't really that concerned because no one was really looking.
The thing is, if they're not on Mars, they got to be doing it somewhere on Earth, which means no matter how smart they are, somebody's going to be able to go to the place where they can match the landscape up. Do you know what I mean?
If I were them, I'd just make it so nondescript, just so like.
You can't though, because any features are going to be recognizable. You know what I mean?
Just make
like
it like
rocks and mountains and divots and hillsides and shit. Like, it's just recognizable. You can't hide it other than making your own landscape in a you know, wherever they shoot movies. You know, other than that, there's no way you could hide it.
Yeah, true.
If you show me a landscape that even looks like the terrain on Mars, that's enough for me to call at least call bullshit and to get proof. If you show me a landscape that even looks like that, a whole another planet, and it looks just like northern Greenland or some shit, man, come on, man.
All they do is tint it red, give it a little red tint, and
did anyone know if they ever if they've had any microphones on any of these rovers that they've sent?
Yeah, they put out some sound from this one that they just sent. So I know they do.
What's the curvature on Mars? Is it like 6.5 inches per mile squared or what, man?
I don't know.
I listen to this show, man. I listen while I'm working, man, and I want to jump through the screen sometimes, man. I can't respond because I'm hard at it and busy, but I hear some things they're talking about weight, something being weightless. Rumpus talking about putting gas in a balloon and then weighing the balloon. Yeah, that's what they taught us. And said, he's like, yeah, they taught that in 6th grade or 7th grade as showing that gases weigh things. Yeah, he didn't mention, you know, we're adults now and we can change the temperature of that gas. And if you make the temperature hot, then all of a sudden it goes up. It doesn't weigh shit on the scale. And it all, you know, he just goes back to basic elementary school or middle school science to try and prove that gas has mass or it has weight when it only does in certain circumstances, you know. I got a helium balloon here that I filled up, and all of a sudden, a couple days later, it doesn't float, but it's still full of something, you know. What happened? Just the helium molecules escaped and got replaced with carbon dioxide or something? Why is this balloon still blown up, but now it ain't floating? There's a lot more to it than just take a balloon, weigh it on a scale, fill it up with air, and weigh it. It all depends on the temperature. It depends on the time it's been there. I mean, there's other variables, man.
Did anybody get my point about? Are you weighing? Are you measuring the mass? Or are you measuring the weight? Because I think I was trying to say that you can't measure the weight until you put it in a container, right? Does it even have weight?
Yeah.
So if you can't measure it without the container, then it doesn't have weight, does it?
The Globers still argue this point whether you can or can't weigh it in a container. I mean, the not so bright.
If it has weight,
everyone knows.
Sorry. I was going to say, if it has weight, if it has weight, the lower you go, the heavier it should weigh, because the more air, if you're laying on the ground, you should have barely any equalization underneath you and all the air pressing on top of you. It does not weigh shit. That's crap. It all depends on temperature, on the gas, the type it is, or whatnot. It's not as simple as just, yeah, and it does. I understood what you were saying, Brandon. It's without the container, you're not getting no weight. You're just adding mass to the container itself. And if you do it cold enough, it'll add weight. If you do it hot, it'll subtract weight. It's that simple.
Yeah. I'm looking at these Mars pictures here. You know, and I don't see anything in these that would make me think, oh no, this can't be Earth. Or even straight up CGI. They could just be CGI in the whole thing now. Right? They don't even necessarily need Earth. Fucking cookies.
Isn't this why
Did anybody
Mars? Because it's the same gravitational force as Earth.
I just seen a video, guys. This is important.
Okay.
I just seen a video released by Ranty. I don't know why he's only got 95 subscribers, y'all. Subscribe to Ranty. Whether you watch him every day or not, man, for God's sake, man, subscribe to Ranty. Okay, and I just seen a video on his channel. It's Stanley Kubrick, as far as I know. It looked like him, but it's old, and he wanted to wait about 10 or 15 years from after he made the video. But it's about how Neil Armstrong felt about faking it at the time, how he was promised. It's a confession by Stanley Kubrick that to be put out after he died.
There's
how
another,
he did it.
Hey, Brian, there's another part of that video that where he says to somebody, where it's clear that he's like making stuff up, that he's joking. I don't trust that video, because there is like a second part where he says something to whoever's doing it with him. Oh yeah, this is gonna be funny.
Yeah, real funny, huh?
Yeah.
He disclosed a little bit too much, in my opinion, to make that shit up. You got to listen to the whole thing, and there's a couple things. How would he have known about? How do you know that shit? You know, that's the questions I ask.
Well, he knew those guys back then, right? I mean, he knew the NASA guys and stuff. It's not like he didn't know them. There's those famous pictures of him walking with, I don't know if it was the astronaut. I can't remember who it was. Let me see if I can find it.
So how long has this been out, Brandon? Out of curiosity.
It's been out for a long time.
See, so it's been suppressed, man, because I've been looking everywhere, deep and wide, as far as moon landing conspiracies, and I ain't found it. That means it's suppressed.
Well, there's a possibility that Stanley Kubrick film is an actor. You know, the film.
I understand that, but why suppress it?
Well, suppress it. If it's bullshit, why pretend you're suppressing it? And
I would expect to have that comment by Rumpus or somebody, not from you, Jimbo.
I don't know. I mean, there's just so much bullshit out there. You just filter through it. If you want to take and say that somehow a possibly fake film of a Stanley Kubrick confession about the moon is somehow validated because it is a fake and it's been suppressed.
Well, it's impossible. Okay, it's impossible to blow the whistle on anything nowadays, because this is what you get, you know. And I don't know, man. I'm just thinking. I'm just putting some thought into it. What if you did know something, and you wanted to come out and say something, man? The only thing you could do is maybe give a coded speech like Neil Armstrong did, you know, where he said the truth, you know, is there's truth, there's great discoveries to be made out there if you could see past one of truth's protective layers and shit. Talking to kids, okay, 5th grade gifted, elementary school gifted students, and giving a message like that, you know, it's like that's all you can do now. You can't blow whistle, because you're gonna have everybody, including people who truthers, denying shit, and then, you know, although it could be bullshit. I mean, of course we always see it from both sides. That's what makes us who we are. But I'd like to at least, delve deep into it, talk about it, man.
I posted some pics of so-called from NASA from Mars. Is it just me, or does Mars look kind of like the moon?
Oh, let me see here. This is supposed to be Mars?
Official, yep. From NASA.
What's this spec supposed to be?
That's the lander, and the picture was taken by the orbiter, in case you're wondering.
Oh.
They have an orbiter. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Let's see this one. I saw this one. I watched this video. This looks fake as hell to me. I don't know why, but it looked like something from a video game.
I'd like to ask everybody on this panel if whoever wanted to participate. Okay, I'll start with myself. Okay, do I think that the planets are tangible items? And if so, how big, how far would you think? In fact, no, I ain't gonna start myself. Anybody want to answer that? Are the planets, the wandering stars, whatever you want to call them, are they tangible? And if so, how far, how big you think they are, and how far away you think they are? Does anybody care to have a shot at that?
I'm going to start off by thinking that I think that your question is based on begging the question. So listen real quick. You have to, you have to take this back to very first principles in a claim. When was it first postulated that a so-called planet was terrestrial? Okay? Because I'm going to say it was before we had satellites. It was before we had any rovers, any way to take pictures and verify it according to them, right? So Copernicus postulated that, hey, that's a terrestrial body out there. That's a solid body out there, okay? That begins pseudoscience. So there's absolutely, Brian, no reason any of us answer that question.
I'm answering it anyway, man. But hey, that's good input though, Travis. But I mean, in my mind, what do I think? And I'm thinking, man, I think, man, that's a good out to not have to answer it. But in my opinion, if it is a solid body, okay, if it is, and I'm not making a claim, I'm just philosophizing, whatever you want to call it, man. Just trying to, it's something, okay? It's something. It probably is not a physical body. That'd be my answer. But if it was, I'd say it'd probably be about the size of maybe 3 or 4 cities, man. Maybe a 100-mile diameter, maybe 5,000-6,000 miles away. If it was that, though, they could land on it. You know what I'm saying? And it would look big. If it was as big as Northeast Florida, that'd be small on a planetary scale. But hey, that'd still be in the moon. Like if the moon had a diameter, just shits and giggles, man, for shits and giggles.
Just on the fact that no orbits exist without a rope and a tether. Just so many things. They're just lights in the sky. The question is just absolutely absurd for people who have been looking at this for 6 years and know, they're luminaries. They're not rocks. Rocks don't orbit other rocks and gas balls and vacuums that are on fire.
Fair enough.
It's an idiot. Well, it's a really out to lunch question for the maturity of the people in this particular room. An audience.
Yeah, I'm with you, Jimbo. I'm with you. I respect that. And I'll say this, like I'm looking at the moon right now and it's daytime here in Florida, okay? And the moon it's halfway transparent. It's like you barely see it. It's foggy looking and the craters look blue. It looks like just like the atmosphere in front of it looks like behind it. But then I'll look at it through my P1000 and I mean, I don't know what you want to say, but that son of a bitch looks solid as my eyes are round. It looks like a solid round sphere, And I'm thinking, if it was the size of a few cities or if it had a diameter of, let's just say 500 or let's just say 100 miles, that'd still be huge, man. That'd be huge. You could have 10 cities on it, as far as land. You'd be able to land on it, would be my point.
Doesn't exist. Stop.
Probably not.
Stop. Brian, stop. I'm sorry.
Okay, man.
Crazy, dude. You might as well right now go back to the globe. If you're okay with listen, I mean that in the most honest way. Okay. It's like if you are okay
with beginning your imagination about how a stone could actually be a terrestrial location without any evidence, Brian.
Yeah, I don't have any evidence.
Yeah, then stop.
Yeah, I'll stop. I definitely had no intention of upsetting anybody. I'm just saying, I'm just wondering what people think, man. Because like I said, when I look at it through my P1000, it looks like a fucking big ball up there. I'm just saying.
I don't know why.
I don't mean it is. I know that. I know that.
I don't know why. I don't know why you guys are getting so upset. I mean, I think it's okay to discuss it.
Have you ever seen that Chinese magic mirror effect, Brian?
Negative.
It looks like no. Well, I'll post it and back again. And like I say, you seem to think that you see some type of solid object when you see the moon. Illusions can give you a 3D solid-looking object, and I'll give you an example of that. Just hold on. Post it in the back.
I'll be honest. I wouldn't make a claim. I would never make a positive claim that it is that I knew for certain, or I'm just saying how it looks. That's all, man. I really wasn't trying to stir shit up. But yeah, I would like to see the magic mirror, and there's probably other examples of how something looks like it's solid and there, tangible. It ain't, you know. But just throwing that out there, man.
Brian, I'll back you up, bro. I won't leave you hanging. I've filmed the moon too. I've zoomed up on it, and I can say honestly, it looks, now listen to what I'm saying here, people. It looks like a solid object. I can see mountains. I can see craters. Now, I'm not saying it's solid. I'm saying it looks solid.
Yeah, sometimes it looks solid to me.
So-
Sometimes it looks ethereal. You know, you can't see half of it. But I would say that what I think they are is some kind of control system for the Earth. I don't know if they release some kind of energy or light or control different systems. I don't know.
The mic test.
Yeah.
Coming through.
Who's
I posted
controlling the
the
planet?
Chinese magic mirror, the illusion in general, and like I say, if in this demonstration it shows the zodiac and stuff, but if you substituted that with an image of the moon, it would project a 3D looking solid hologram of the moon.
I
if
see
you
that.
will, shadow
Yeah.
without
Jimbo's
any
right, it does.
material. It looks
Yeah, I've
3D
seen this
as
before,
shit.
yeah.
Well, yeah, that's one possibility.
So
Sure.
it's just a possibility. That's all I'm saying. But you know,
Yeah.
like
I
like
agree
I
with
say,
you, Jimbo.
to do a spirograph, a multi-billion-ton object around the Earth being tethered. Come on, we've all gone past that. It ain't a ball.
I just find
of
myself
rock.
asking questions like when it comes to the magnetic fields and everything. Is it the objects up there causing that, or is it are they connected at all, or is there something
They're
causing
assuming that
the
they're
effect
solid
up there, you
objects
know?
again. You're calling for
Yeah,
the
exactly.
assumption of planets again.
Yeah, if they were, would
And
they
the
have to be
assumption
solid?
that a bunch of
to,
hydrogen can coalesce in a vacuum, start itself on fire.
I
and not
never
be
said it was a
sucked into the
vacuum, Jim. But
void.
come on, man.
I
I'm already
know,
going out on a limb, bro.
You're
You don't got to take me out further, brother.
asking about planets, and you're leading us into more planets and material in space.
Nah, bro, I ain't saying nothing about a vacuum. I'm not claiming that, man. In fact, I'm already going out on a limb. Don't take me out further, brother. I'm just saying, like, I'm just wondering. You know, it's fair to have thoughts on what causes the flow, the magnetic
What causes
ley
the
line,
lights
the
to
ley
shift?
lines. I wonder if they're correlated at all. Is it the bodies up there created from the cycles? I don't know, man. I'm just like to hear what people say, man. Like Dwayne Kellum, you know, he throws that out there about the different, like the neon, the different gases, the noble gases up there, and he puts high energy through them, you know, and shows the colors that they glow, and to me that shit's fascinating, man. Just different ideas that make sense of explaining what we see and the different colors of the sunsets and everything. There's a lot of different ways to look at it without having to teach it in school, you know, or make positive claims, man. It's just something, man.
Well, as for me, I don't know what they are.
See, because I like to go on the front lines, man, and argue with them. And they ask me, like, what is an eclipse? You know, first and foremost, I don't know what an eclipse is, you know. But that gets old, you know, you're answering that, you know, and it gets you thinking, what could it be, okay, if the Earth
It
ain't
don't matter
what
if
they
you don't know. There's no shame in that. And I don't know what the fucking eclipse is either, in all honesty. So it may not be
Well, you're
fun
not
to
on these
say and not
channels,
have
though,
a
bro. That's what I'm
story for
saying. That's a
someone.
boring answer, bro.
Don't worry
That's
about
my
them.
point.
If they want to take some unicorn story and run with it, what's the
No,
problem?
well, yeah, kind of is a unicorn story, but my explanation for that is that the same way. It's the same. They all tie in together, man. The same reason the sun rises and sunset, the atmosphere is red. It has to do with all the science that they have nowadays. The fact that the light just is it's being refracted. Hold on, let me
They
finish.
try to tell us that our nuclear magnetic resonance spectroscopy done here on Earth can reveal the same resonance from the core of an atom a billion miles away, and they're wrong about that.
I agree. Quit interrupting. Look, I'm almost done.
Quit interrupting.
My
I
point is
hope
that the
one
throw
day
of
you'll
light.
be done. In weeks, we've never finished. Okay, sorry about that. That was
My point, man, is that the light has a limit. You know, it has a limit of its throw. And when you see a selenelium, to me that debunks the globe right away. That's a globe killer, and their stories sound ridiculous. But if the throw of light is limited, and you're seeing the sun and the moon, and they happen at perihelion, okay, when they're the farthest apart that they get, period, during the whole year, that's when the eclipse happens and the shadow comes down from the top. Then that means it's hitting a spot far enough away from the sun that the throw of light is not reaching there, and it starts failing from the top down, and then it comes around and comes back into light. You know, to me, that's a sensible answer to get them thinking at least and have some kind of response instead of, I don't know, nobody knows. You know, I'm just throwing that out there, man. But I'm not disagreeing with anything you say, Jimbo. I like facts and all that, first and foremost, man. But just trying to come up with some common sense answers.
I like some simplicity too. Like if you take a 3/4 inch, half-inch pipe, point it at the North Star, nail it to a wall, any day of the year that's clear enough, you'll see the North Star at the end of your pipe, proving that there's no tilt, wobble, or movement of the Earth.
Now, I like that. I like that, Jimbo. And yeah, I'd like to do that, man. Take a piece of PVC. And I think when
get a good view and nail a piece securely, it'll point forever at the North Star.
Hey,
and who on this panel ain't thought about doing that with different celestial objects like the North Star? And I think the moon, like, it looks huge on the horizon.
Not different celestial objects. Only the North
Let me finish,
Star.
dingbat. You ain't even fucking hear me out, dude. You're automatically assuming that I think everything sits there still, dude. For God's sakes, dude. I was gonna say the moon.
Keep it going.
Huge on the horizon, okay, but it looks big in our eyes. They say it's the same size as it is in the sky. I don't believe that, and I think if it might barely show a difference, like through a pipe or through your fingers holding up. But if you were to scale that and show a difference, like even a tiny little difference, it was all it takes to make something look bigger way off on the horizon, man, is what I'm trying to say, man. Damn, dude, you ain't got to put words in my mouth. I'm just trying to fucking throw shit out there, man.
Yeah, when the moon's on the horizon, you're comparing it to usually houses, trees, barns, whatever, things you're familiar with. So it looks big compared to those. Then when it moves overhead, you don't have that frame of reference anymore. You have open sky to see your moon in.
So you bought right into the bullshit.
I do think that optical illusion, there is something to that. But I swear to God, on the blood moons and harvest moons, not the blood moons, the harvest moons, it does look bigger. And I've seen it pretty high up in the sky, and you know, you just look at it and you go, damn, that moon looks huge and close. It looks closer.
There's people who pulled over on the side of the road a few years back. We called it a Mortal Kombat moon. It was orange and it covered up fucking, like, I mean, it was huge. It was scary, dude. I've talked about this before. We called it a Mortal Kombat moon. It was orange. It was scary fucking big, dude. People were pulling over on the side of the road looking at it. It wasn't a fucking optical illusion, man. I don't care what
it doesn't always look like that. I agree. It doesn't always look, the harvest moons don't always look, or the regular moons don't always look that big and close. It does literally look closer to me. when it's that harvest moon, and sometimes it looks just fucking huge.
When I photographed the moon on the, at the beach, there's no houses, there's no trees. Okay, it's not it just doesn't make a big difference if you're holding your fingers out or some shit like that. Then yeah, it's not going to make a big difference with anything you size it up to. It's at the extent of view, but a tiny little bit to your finger makes a difference. As far as you can't use your fingers to gauge something that just a smidgen, like a couple layers of skin, make a difference. That's.
Maybe. We got a Streamlabs tip from Most Expensive Tip. Donated $3. Genesis 116. And God made two great lights. The greater light to rule the day, and the lesser light to rule the night. Makes sense.
I mean, I got a clear camera at home. I was thinking of doing that as moonlight colder thing.
Yeah, I've seen. Remember when Anthony Riley tried to do that, and boy, that's tough to measure. Because I was convinced that he had it right once too. It is tough to measure.
It does show the shade as colder through one of these infrared things. I got one of these wall things where you could see in crevices of walls and all that shit, and it's got an infrared phase, and it does show the shade warmer. But I haven't tried it on a night with no moonlight. If it still does that, but you know what? I should do that next.
It depends
moon,
on how
whatever they want to call it.
It depends on how you make your shade. You got to make your shade far away from the object that you're checking the temperature of, and off to the side. Otherwise, they'll say if you have like a roof over it or something, or a building next to it, they'll say, oh, it's keeping the heat there, the thermal heat's there still, and it's radiating off it, causing it to be hotter. So you got to make your shade on your object.
I like that.
Checking the temperatures of very far away. You know what I mean? Make your shade be far away.
And wouldn't the point be it's supposed to be hotter though, Jeremy? I mean, it should, whether it's colder or not, it should be hotter. If it's reflecting like 4 or 4.5% of the sun's light, it should be a noticeable degree hotter in the moonlight, I would think.
In the shade, it should be colder, and in the open moonlight, it should be warmer.
Yeah. Pardon me. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, if I remember correctly, you got to be careful too, because there's something with those infrared thermometers in the way they use light to determine what the temperature is. I can't remember what it was, but like the moonlight throws them off a little bit, or they interpret it as cold versus heat. So just look into that if you're going to do it.
Hey, Brandon, I just posted a buck moon video. If you want to play it, go ahead. It's 3 minutes. Big, like you're saying.
Hold on, Brian.
Yeah, it ain't optical, man. In some cases, it might be an optical illusion, but dude, there's moons that are scary big, dude. I don't know it, dude. If you ain't seen it, then you don't know what I'm talking about. But I want to say this: my 3.5 miles of 120-pound monofilament should be in tomorrow or the next day, man.
Another thing you could do for the moon thing is get a giant Fresnel lens and see if you could focus the rays to actually start a fire, or make
I have
hotter.
one of those, bro.
No, I got one. I tried that. It doesn't get hotter. It doesn't get hotter.
I don't think it'll work.
How much? What's your line now? Hold on. What's your line, bro? How many pound test? How much was it? What's the weight? What color is it?
$50.
What's the test?
$50 for a 5 pound. I think it's between 2.5 and 3.5 miles. It didn't say exactly, but judging by the pounds of every other 5 pound spool. Because if you get a 5 pound spool of 10 pound test, it's going to be about 15 miles long. If you get a 5 pound spool of 30 pound test, it's going to be about 7 or 8 miles long. You know what I'm saying? And it's between.
What are you going to do with it? What are you going to do with the water?
Man,
the line?
That's the $1 million question, man. I'm trying to find a place close to here that's not tidal, but I'm going to have to settle with doing it in a still place. And I'm going to try it with about half of it at first. I'm not going to cut the line, but I'm going to try it and just to see if it's feasible. If it doesn't work over a mile or a mile and a half,
you're going to have it on
doing
top
it
of
over
water,
3 miles. But all this talk, we're about to see it. I'm just letting everybody know we're about to see it.
On top of water, underwater, over the water.
All of them. I'm going to try them all.
No doubt. All right.
Why wouldn't I?
All right.
You got a 3-mile continuous piece, Brian, or what?
Yeah.
Wow.
Those spools we
I'll
were
give out
looking
the
at,
details
Brandon,
of the name brand, man. I'll give out the details, but they said it's due to arrive tomorrow. Or
those spools.
Let's see the proof in the Jello pudding.
there you
Those
go,
spools
brother.
those spools we were looking at, Brandon, was 2 miles. I think it was like $300 or something, but it was like 200-pound test.
Oh, okay.
Remember that?
Yeah,
Remember
yeah.
that?
A while
Let me
back,
tell you,
yeah.
if anybody who else wants to do this, look up. I went and did a Google search, and they have it on eBay, Amazon, Deep Sea Bass Pro Shops. I mean, there's so many different competitions, but you want to get, they have different sizes. But if you search enough, you can find. I mean, if you wanted to do 30-pound, which I almost did because it was cheaper, I got lucky finding this 50-pound spool. 5-pound spool of 120-pound. I just come across it after searching for days and days.
How much is the test on this line? You
Like
got?
120
Oh, I
pounds.
thought you said 5-pound test. I was gonna say I can't hold my nuts.
No,
up, but all right.
5-pound spool. That's what I
All
want to say.
right.
So look up a 5-pound spool or a 7-pound spool or even a 10-pound spool if you want to get up to the 300. That's how they sell it. They sell it in the pounds. They sell it in the spool pounds because if you get it, they'll sell. And I'm just telling y'all this to save time because they'll sell like a 10-pound spool and they'll have 12-pound, 30-pound, all 10-pound spool. So that's what you do. Is
you rush out and buy it. You finish your stuff, okay? Report back.
What was that? I'm sorry.
Well, before too many people rush out and buy spools of this stuff, how about do your tests and show us the results and see if it's worth repeating for other people, putting the money in the first place.
Because everything they said was, I'm with you, Jimbo, because everything they said was wrong. They said that after 60 feet, if I was a foot off the ground, that it would touch the ground with 50-pound tests. I had 15, I think 30 and 50, or 15, 30 and 80 tied to the same poles, and I'm not sure that the 80 even had less sag than the 15, to be honest. So if this doesn't work, I'm gonna try it with thinner lines.
The sag
Point being, yeah.
The sag calculators are off, no question.
No question with this flexible line. Now I seen that line they were talking about with that Jaron used or that George is saying, but that's not flexible, man. And maybe it will make a difference, but I know I don't think. See, I think if you get suckered into trying that shit, yeah, their calculators show it to be strong and stronger over air. But is it buoyant? I mean, is it zero buoyancy? Is it neutral? What is it? It obviously didn't work, so I'm trying something different instead of giving up.
The spectral line is 0.94 on the buoyancy. It's almost neutral buoyant.
It's probably close enough, huh?
I want to see it with my own 2 eyes with the monofilament that I stretch 570 feet down my road, not sagging at all to the visible eye. I want to see what that could do in the water. I know that's a far stretch from miles and miles, but still, I just want to see it with my own 2 eyes, man. We've talked about it enough. We deserve to see it, and we're gonna.
You're gonna try 3 miles of it, Brian?
Yes.
I'm gonna try about a mile. If I can find the spot, I'll go the full length of how. It's at least 2.5. It might be 3.5. And I guarantee it ain't no more than 3.5. But if I find a spot between now and Thursday or Friday to try it that's not tidal, then I will. But the spot I have now that I can get to with my volunteers is it's a little over a mile, and it's easy because all I have is a gigging boat, like a little 16-foot little old flat bottom boat on it, and I have a little gig that I paddle with. So we're going to a spot that's not deep, and I'm gonna have all of us on the shore, and 3 of us are gonna get in the boat, and I'm gonna row across, and then I'm gonna drop one person off, and they're both gonna have a phone, and then I'm gonna have one person paddle back to the middle with me, and I'll be on speaker, and I'm gonna tell them what to do, where to hold the lines, and my wife said she'd film it. Well, we'll see. But if she, I think she will. So if she films it all, she can.
If you can get a little electric motor and a battery to replace the oars, I think it'd be well advised. A mile oaring, it's long, laborious, back to the middle of the lake.
I've done it a million times.
I wouldn't grow that.
You got to step your boat.
I'm born and raised on the waters here, man. I've covered every inch of water around here in these parts. And it's just a spot where I just got to paddle. It's a spot where it's a good fishing spot. It's shallow, a big stretch of shallows where fish come and lay their they spawn and shit. And so it's not wavy. It's not on the ocean. It's way inland.
That's cool, but it's an hour to paddle across it.
It's going to be faster for me to gig across it than it will be for a motorkin or whatever you call them. I used to have one of them trolling motors.
Faster is not a unit of time. Is it an hour? What does it take to row across a mile?
Bro, you got to step your boat game up.
Is it 5 miles an hour you row? I don't know. I'm just trying to find out how long it takes to row across the damn lake. Or, jeez. Not if it's faster than something else. It's faster than, well, yeah, a turtle and a snail. Slower than a jet.
You want me? Hey, wait, you don't want to speculate, do you? I just said I don't fucking know, bro. I don't know how long it's going to take. You want me to time it? I'll time it.
I have seen with canoes, on average, you can go about a mile in about 15, 20 minutes.
You think you
You're
could
gonna
beat
have
a
to
you?
paddle like hell if you're going to try to get a mile any faster than 15, 20 minutes.
I can get there faster than walking. Let's just say that.
George,
I've gigged these shorelines. I can get there faster than walking.
George, are you saying you could
enough?
beat Brian in a canoe race? You could probably beat him across that mile. You think?
Bro, I can dig a trench over a mile with an
What do you
army
mean,
shovel faster than you can
I'm not
paddle
sure
this
what
shit.
you mean. I'm not sure what you mean by beating them.
You could go faster in a race. You think you could race him on the water?
You mean canoe against canoe?
Yeah, sure. We could do canoe against canoe.
I don't know if he can do it faster than 15, 20 minutes.
Man, and I got first place up there. I got first place at Dave & Buster's for the kayak race, man. Fucking where they can go into the whirlpool, man. He ain't gonna beat me in no rowing. I'm just kidding, man.
Kayak is much different. Kayak is much lighter than a canoe. It's very easy to go.
I'm just
fast.
joking, George, bro. I'm just joking anyway, brother. I'm just joking, man. I'm trying to lighten up the mood, man.
George got some guns. I've seen his arms before. He might be able to beat you.
He is pretty well built for his age. We'll give you that, George.
You're built like a brick shit house.
Well, I wouldn't quite put it that way, but the thing is, I'm just saying, with average paddling, without really killing yourself, you cover a mile in about 15, 20 minutes in a canoe. But if you're going to try to do it quicker than that, you're going to beat yourself up.
George is built like a stacked shit house.
I'll still flat smack the shit out of you, George. Don't so.
But I don't know where Brian's coming from on this spectral line. It's almost neutral buoyant water having a density of 1 gram per cubic centimeter. The spectral line is 0.94. It's almost identical to water, and it's very flexible. He was saying it's stiff or not flexible, and
that's good to know. That's good to know. But weren't you one of the people who told me that the monofilament that I was stretching would hit the ground over 60 feet?
No.
Remember when that professional fisherman was on Jose's channel?
No, it wasn't me.
So how far do you think just standard 50-pound monofilament will go over land 1 foot off the ground before it hits?
I don't know. I could figure it out if you could tell me.
You don't got to do the math. I mean, with all the math
Yeah,
you've already done, what would you guess?
Well, how thick is the monofilament line?
That'd be or let me ask you an easier question. Do you think that 50 or 80 pounds would do better than 50 or 15? Well, what I'm saying is the calculator didn't line up to reality, bro. I ran 3 different sizes and they all did the same shit, dude.
Well, no, you're not using a calculator properly. It would be my guess. But the thing is, how thick is what is the diameter of the monofilament line?
Just call it 50 pound. I don't know. 4 mil. I mean, that's just a guess though, man.
That's a huge line. That's huge.
0.04 mil, George.
4 mil is in thousandths of an inch, 1/1000th of an inch.
I mean, we call it 4 and 6 mil with the plastic, but we know it means 0.4, right? I mean.
Well, mil, you're not meaning millimeters. You're meaning mil as in thousandths of an inch. Right.
Okay, then
that's usually how we refer to mils.
Then 4/1000th of an inch. Then call it that.
Let's see.
you ain't got to do the math, man. I'm just seeing what your common sense tells you.
Well, I'm
About
trying to
how far.
compare it. I have
Everybody
to
on this
compare
panel
it
could
to
make
what
a
I
guess,
already
George.
know.
Brian, he can't wipe
George,
his ass
everybody on this
without
panel
don't
could make a
think your
guess. You
line.
know?
I don't think your line is 4 mils. That's awful thin.
It probably ain't, bro. That's just a guess. My point is this.
Oh, you're
I'm just
guessing.
trying
Oh,
to get you to make a common sense guess at how far a foot off the ground with 50-pound test, just standard 50-pound test. We can't hold you to it because we're not even telling you what kind it is. Just regular monofilament, you know, spider wire, whatever anything you want to use.
how high
How
off
far
the
you think you could
ground?
go?
Wait. How high off the ground again?
1 foot.
Why does
1
that
foot?
matter?
Well, it
Why does
matters
the
a lot
height?
because you don't need the less sag that you have, the more tension you have to put on the line, and and you can't go as far. When the more sag you allow, the much further you can go with your line.
No doubt.
So, my guess. Let's see.
We're holding you to this, so
To
just
it.
so you know.
Well, then I'm not going to figure it out.
I'm just kidding, George. I'm just kidding. I was just kidding. I was just kidding, George.
Well,
Seriously.
I don't know. Again, not knowing the characteristics of the line, it wouldn't surprise me. You could go maybe 1.5 miles.
1.5 miles, 1 foot?
Wow.
On each side, 2 miles total, or 3 miles total. From
Overland, right? Overland.
Doesn't matter. Over land, over water. If you're looking for a 1 foot sag, you could probably go, I don't know, maybe even 7 miles into it.
Now, everybody listen.
If it was
Don't this make the test sound feasible at least? This makes the test sound feasible. They told me when we were preparing this test that a professional fisherman came on Jose's and said 60 feet, even if he said 60 yards, he said it would touch the ground if it was a foot above the ground.
Yeah,
so I just went 570 feet. So this makes the test feasible, guys. That's the whole point.
That's wrong.
What,
I mean,
what if
60
it was
feet,
over?
totally unreasonable.
What if it was
That's
over liquid
ridiculous.
hot magma? Then how far?
I'm seeing allowing a 1 foot sag, saying you can only go 60 yards or 60 feet is just totally ridiculous. That's not even close to being orders of magnitude in the ballpark.
Yeah, we know those
Well,
Glovers
they had
and
a laugh
Jose's
at me.
are
They had a good
ridiculous.
laugh at me. They had a good laugh at me until I demonstrated otherwise, man, on that channel about me thinking that I could go a few hundred feet because I'd already did it on a previous video over the water, a few hundred feet. And they called bullshit on that, even though I had a video showing it. You know?
I'll wait for the 1 mile demo, and the rest is air and flu-fla till then.
If you can't go
Well,
at least 10
I
miles.
would agree with that, but I would argue that, man, I want to hear all contention, every angle of contention possible, so I know how to approach this,
Well,
Jimbo.
maybe just do it and then see beforehand some of the issues.
We'll check with
Instead
Rumpus.
of, reverse paradox black boxing it there, stretch some wire, do 1 mile, shut up, get the results, and then air some
Man, you're
questions.
pissing me
Well, what
off tonight,
happened?
bro,
You know
man.
what?
You're lucky you're my friend, dog.
Try to
Brian,
do
you got to
things
check with
backwards.
Rumpus. Brian, you got to check with Rumpus and make sure there's no seagulls or birds pooping around the line. That could be a point of contention.
And make sure there's no hot and cold water refraction going on, stupid ass.
What the hell are you talking about?
Uh-oh.
Oh boy, here he is.
You went and done it, Brandon. You see?
I only said his name 1 time or 2 times, I think.
I don't
like
care about
Beetlejuice,
60
though.
meters and beating your chest. Wow, there was no sag. Show me 1 mile. Don't just talk about
Miles.
it. Just do it. You
Yeah.
don't need to ask everybody their
Jimbo,
opinion before
let
you
me
do
tell you my
something.
point, buddy.
Brian,
My point
stop being
is-
lazy.
No, I know, right? My point is if they were right, Jimbo, and I didn't try it, I could have just accepted what they said and thinking that over 60 feet or 60 yards that it would sag a foot, okay? If I'd have just accepted what they said, I never would have fucking tried it, dude. But I tried it myself, went over 570 feet, and it didn't do what they said, and that's why I called. I showed it on my video to show that it is worth doing.
We do
That's
that
the whole
with
point,
cotton
Jimbo. You
thread
act like
and
there's nothing
wallboards
good to be
and-
had for a preliminary test or something. It's a preliminary
don't
test.
sag sag a foot over 60 feet. You know, why would it sag a foot over 60 feet with fish wire?
That's what
You
the
know?
professional
Because that's what their
claim.
nutty ass
We,
sag
we string
calculators
boards
say.
100 feet across, you know, and there's no sag in the string.
Dude, let me just say this. There's nothing wrong with preliminary tests, dude. Like you said, a mile, that's fair. I'll
Yeah,
do a
let's do a
mile to
mile.
see.
That's fair.
No,
And
do
if I
2
got a
miles.
spot, I'll go the full 3 miles on the first try. But
Do
the whole
3
point
miles
is, man,
or
there's
about
nothing wrong with discussing shit, man.
What kind
Nothing wrong with it, man.
What kind of currents are there in that area you're going to do it in? Just out of curiosity.
It's not big currents either way, but if you catch it at the turning of high or low tide is when I'm going to get the most current. So I will avoid that, but it is a little bit tidal, man. There's a few feet of tide, but it is gradual over 6 hours, and it's in a spot, like I said, when the water kind of pours in and pours out, and so it's like a flatland off the river. And like I said, it's a spawning area, so it's better than doing it like in the river or in any stream or something. You know, it's not flowing water. It will sit still temporarily, and that's just it. Is if I catch it at peak high tide, I can catch a still tide, but I'm under a time clock, and then I'm gonna have to wait for it to start going out. You know, but I'm gonna try and catch it at a peak tide,
Brian, did you
a peak high or a peak
Brian,
low. Yeah.
Brian, did you see White's words test? Did you ever think of recreating that?
What was that? White's. Man, I need to talk. I wanted to ask some questions about that. That's all I think about, man. Is shit like that, man. I love where his mind's at, man.
You could try to recreate that with your line. That'd be fucking awesome. That's definitive, no questions asked right there.
I might have a modification of Whitewood's test that might actually do what you want with which is engineeringly feasible.
Oh,
yeah, let's definitely hear that, bro.
We're all ears.
Don't let Jimbo hear it. Jimbo don't want to hear it. He wants to see it. But yeah, we all else want to hear it though.
Yeah, we do want to hear it.
Yeah,
just fucking with you, Jimbo. I'm just fucking with you, Jimbo. Fucking with you back, bro.
It's just not. Well, it's not actually a version of what Jim Whitewood was going to do, but it's sort of inspired me with his thing about sagging cables and also with what Bram was going on, and been looking at some calculations about having lines and things. And actually, I spoke to George about it earlier today. I presented my idea to him, and we couldn't find anything obviously wrong with it. Basically, it just involves using a sagging line as a reference point. So it doesn't have to be straight. It mustn't touch the ground. And it's just between two posts. It probably would need to be about 6 kilometers long. But that would then, and the result, the way you would determine, the thing you would measure to determine whether or not the Earth is curved or not, is just the distance between the bottom of the sag and how high that is above the ground. And you can put it up at any height you like. So let's the one that would work, I believe, is about 3 meters. You'd suspend it up at, and that would involve then it would sag. Using the equations that we believe to be correct, the ones that Brian was just slagging off, that would give you a sag over, I've got that here, over 3 kilometers of...
Hey, Rumpus.
Hey, George.
Hey, Brian, I hate to rain on your parade, but my intuition was way off. If your line has the same characteristics...
We knew that, George. We knew that. Sorry, but go ahead.
Well, anyway, I went through my equations that I derived, and at a 66-pound breaking strength with a sag of 1 foot, you're looking at it will break at about 5/8 of a mile.
That's still pretty impressive over air. I mean, in air, you know, just throwing that out there. If they'd let us go on to LIGO or whatever it is, you know, we could put a water level up to test that.
Why? We don't even know if LIGO is straight or not.
Oh yeah, that's right. That's right. Well, no, yeah.
You don't even know if LIGO is straight or not.
No, we know it's straight, but is it level or not? We don't know. Yeah, so you're saying, like Brandon said, it could be down at an angle.
Brian, you don't know if it's straight.
Well, Brandon had a good point on that, man. Brandon had a good point on that. Even if they wanted to claim that it doesn't line up with the water level, it could just be a straight little angle. You know what I'm saying? It'd still be straight for their use. You know, Brandon had a good point on that.
I'm saying you're willing to go measure it against LIGO, and we don't even know if that's a straight thing or not.
It is straight. It's been surveyed.
Well, I know the claim. But
well, just sight down an edge then. Go there and sight down an edge and see. Just like you'd sight a 2x4.
Yeah, but there's a
Well, if
issue
we're gonna
of
do that, we
refraction,
could
of
just.
course.
Not
If we're gonna
side
do
to
that, we could
side.
ju-
He said straight, side to side.
We can't even agree
Anyway,
on optics at a distance, George. That sighting down the
Yeah.
edge wouldn't do us any good.
I was gonna say, if we're gonna do that, we could just go to Soundly's Bridge and end it right there. We'll shut it down, Brandon.
That's a good idea, man. We could mark the pillars along that bridge in a few mile span, and do some tests, Ben. In my opinion.
Right. So can I just finish? So the upshot is that at something like 6 kilometers, there'll be a sag of about you'll be able to measure a 1 meter discrepancy between what the flat Earth would be and what a spherical Earth would be. There'll be a 1 meter difference over a distance of the line would be 6 kilometers long, but the midpoint sag would be at 3 kilometers, and that 3 kilometer dip sag point, the lowest point, would be 1 meter above what it would be. Sorry, would be 1 meter less than it would be on a flat Earth. So it just involves having this. You don't even need a particularly good line. Someone's echoing me.
Sorry, it might be me. It might be me, but God made his math to have a sense of humor for y'all's guys, in my opinion.
Right. So the upshot is that just by suspending a line, it doesn't have to be particularly strong, but the stronger, you just need to be able to get it to go over a distance of 6 kilometers. And you don't need to go to the braking tension. And just by suspending a line between two poles 6 meters apart and putting sufficient tension on it just to make it not touch the ground between those two, which is within, I've checked this tension is sufficient to do that if you suspend it from about 3 meters up. Then it won't.
Hello.
Can I just finish my goddamn?
Yeah, sorry, I thought you was done. Sorry, go ahead.
So the only equipment you need is one line. It doesn't have to, and it can be as thin as you like. And I believe this is after George. I went to ask George about his spectrum. It just cost $600 or something across 6 kilometers. You should be able to. Oh, Jesus Christ!
Wait, let him finish. Let him get through it.
Can I say something?
Wait, let him get through it, guys. He hasn't gotten through it yet. He hasn't finished his idea yet. Finish.
Yeah, right. And so over a 6 kilometer line, you will be able to tell the difference, and you won't rely on any optics. And just from the sag, though, it does rely on agreeing that the maths of the sag is correct. But that's all you need. 6 kilometers line, suspend it 3 meters above at each end, and you should get a meter difference between the flat Earth case and the spherical Earth case in the middle. Finished.
Just real quick, can we do a diagram, please? Can we do?
Can I say something? They're happy to do this because you already give him the ball, though.
Rumpus, can we do a diagram real quick?
What do you mean, Silent Zero?
Yeah, you already considered to the calculation of the sphere.
With the sag, you mean?
Yeah, with the maths they're doing.
Oh, with this.
Yeah, that's the whole point. That's the whole point, is if we get something different than that. But here's the thing. It doesn't disprove the flat Earth, you know what I'm saying? But it could disprove the globe. I'm trying to do a test that's fair for both. It could disprove either. That's why I wanted to go underwater. But wait, real quick. Can't we do like 3 pillars or 3 pylons on the Pontchartrain Bridge? We could come up with something that's about 100 foot long and straight as a fucking arrow, okay? And we make a mark on all 3 pillars. We're looking at it orthographically from the side of the bridge, and then we move over 1 pillar, and then we line up the middle mark with the other mark, okay? They should be straight.
Brian, can I ask you something?
Just a comment.
Do you know the Black Swan, right?
On determining the shape of a sagging line or a rope, and that has nothing to do with the shape of the Earth on that. Figuring out how that's going to work. All you do is assume that the line has a uniform weight per unit length, and the force of gravity acting on it is downward parallel all the way along the line.
See, so that's the best they can come up with to disprove it. You're hearing it for the best.
Brian.
So yeah, so it's worth trying, guys.
Do you actually think?
You guys know the Black Swan, right?
Yeah, of course.
Never heard of it. We never heard of it.
So what I want to know is from where are they getting the radius to do these calculations?
From their.
Because you guys are allowing them to do calculation based on who knows what.
Right. The thing I'm proposing.
We're not allowing them to do anything. They do it already. They already do it.
Right.
So Rumpus,
We're
do you
trying to
think
come up with a way to
are arguing
falsify it.
All right.
Rumpus, do you actually think you're going to be able to get enough tension in a 6 kilometre line to get it to be able to be above ground level?
Underwater.
Yes,
Underwater.
because oh my god, because you can suspend it as high as you like. Basically, you could, if you want to, you can reduce the stress by just simply raising up either end. I'm proposing at 3 meters as a convenient height. The only issue, I've been through all the variables, and the only one I can think of at the moment, and George agreed with me, that is wind. So you do need a windless day, obviously, but other than that, there are no other. There don't seem to be. What you do have to do though is to wind in the. You have to know the tension and the mass per unit length of the cable. As it's oh my god! Can I just finish a goddamn sentence?
Though, Rumpus, and you're only talking 3 meters high. It'd have to be 50
can I
meters
just
high.
finish my sentence and then you can have a go? So there are a couple of variables to do with the fact the line stretches, and you then have to compensate for the fact the line will stretch by, in George's example case with spectral line, it's about 4%. And so you need to allow for that. And so as you give it tension, it will stretch, and you need to allow for that. But if you put that in the numbers, then the only variable so far that I can see as a problem is the wind.
You're talking 6 kilometres, Rumpus, and you're only talking about putting this thing up 3 meters or 4 meters high. No, it's nowhere near high enough. You have to put it 50 meters high. It's 6 kilometres, Rumpus.
Yeah, I know.
Mic check. What's going on, everyone?
The maths. Oh, Jesus Christ. The maths says that it should be possible to have a 3 meter for the line that George has mentioned, the spectral one with a breaking tension of 298 newtons. The maths says that it should not touch the ground at 3. It will dip to a minimum at 3 kilometers, and then it will go up again.
What are you going to measure it against?
Right. Okay. Here's the principle. What I'm effectively doing. The problems we had in trying to generate a straight line. So, and the problem is that is quite difficult. But what you can do is what I'm proposing is to use the sagging line as your reference. We know what shape that should be. The maths and the who's echoing me? Is it you again, Brian? Right. So the math says what the shape of that line should be. So then that tells you what shape it will be and how much it will sag. So if you do, oh Jesus,
sorry,
I'm nearly there, Jeremy. And so that becomes your reference point. It becomes like a straight line, the straight line that we've all been searching for, that we can't manufacture economically or in fact at all. This becomes a substitute for that. This becomes your reference, but it's a sagging, curving reference line instead of a straight one. But it is defined engineeringly, and so then you can say, well, if I then put it next to a canal or something, you can then measure the distance down to the canal at each relevant points on the line, and there's a certain formula that will give for a flat Earth, and it will give you a different formula for a spherical Earth, and they differ by 1 meter at 3 kilometers. Finished.
But we already know that the SAG calculator is off.
Well, that's okay. Well, that's what I was about to ask Bran. He says that. I bet he's done it incorrectly.
But even if he's done it incorrectly, let's say he's done it incorrectly, Rumpus, how do we validate that the SAG calculator is correct?
Right, that's a very good question, Brandon. You could do it over a shorter distance and then just say then measure it and then see if it matches where you know that for instance, over a kilometer. Oh, who's that, Brian?
Wait a minute, I wanted to say something. I did it over 570 feet, man.
I give up on answer then. I was answering Brandon. I was in the middle of answering Brandon's excellent question.
Sorry, go ahead.
So what you could do is you could say over a distance of a kilometer where the drop is so small, you could say, right, over this distance, it's effectively the spherical and the flat Earth are the same. And then you could make some measurements along there and then see if that matches what the calculator says you should get.
All right.
And
what does it say in the water, Rumpus? I don't care what it says over land. I've already tested that out. What does it say in the water? What does it say the sag is in the water over 3 miles?
No, water, then you get... This avoids any problems with water. This is just hanging, and providing the wind's not interfering with it, the engineering says that you should have a particular shape of the cable. It should sag by a certain amount, and you can check that. As I say, over a point where if you don't take up to a kilometer, where it'll effectively the flat and spherical Earth are the same, and so you could then check that it is behaving as it should, and then you can say, well, if it's doing it over here, then we can believe that what it's doing, over the next 2 kilometers.
Hold on, Brian.
Okay, now wait, this is important, bro. Hold on, Jeremy. This is important. So if I stretch my line over 3 miles, let's say 5 kilometers, whatever, 3 miles, and to get it to float to the top, I should need more buoyancy in the middle than I should toward the end, right?
Well, the trouble is, immediately you've done what you've just said there. The equations that tell you what the shape, you're echoing again, Brian. The equations for the sag in the line are for in the air. And so if immediately you start sticking in the water, well, as well as the fact you're going to get problems with convection currents and God knows what else, I don't know how to work out that equation. It's going to be dependent on all sorts of things. Whereas there's a very clear, simple set of maths equations to tell you what it will do in the air over this distance. So introducing water into it and putting water is going to completely screw everything up.
All right, Rumpus. What if I have let's say I have a 6-inch
You're very quiet,
piece of
Jeremy.
string. I'll be right back.
Nah, he's good actually. Rumpus.
Okay, perhaps I'll turn my volume then. Okay, go ahead, Jeremy. Hold on, I'll turn.
Hold on. Let's say
Rumpus, just don't make the explanation so long, man. After a minute, it just sounds like Charlie, like Charlie Brown's teacher, bro. Just make them shorter.
But I can't help it. It's the fact you're stupid. I had to mention.
It isn't about being stupid. It's that
it
you
is about you being stupid.
Something so little.
It is about you being stupid because I had to mention about 3
Rumpus,
different.
If it was about people being smart, you would not be here.
I had to mention about 3 different important factors in that. So there's a limit to how much smaller. But what I would do for you, Matrix, I will make a video about it. I will make a video about it as a proposal for White to do, and then you can then go through it at your leisure. And I'll also produce a web page for it. We'll have explanation, and then you can examine that at your leisure. Go ahead.
Is it gonna be better than Google?
Rumpus.
White's going to do his idea, and his idea is far more feasible than your idea. He's not having to suspend anything, Rumpus. It's just crazy.
You can ignore it if you like.
Guys,
6 kilometers. 6 kilometers. It's insane.
So, Bouncer, you're claiming you can't suspend something over 3 kilometers. Yeah, George, I just wanted to make a final point about it.
6 kilometers. 6 kilometers you're talking about. Right? And show me one example. Hold on, I was talking, George. Right? Now, you show me, Rumpus, one example of a cable, right, anywhere in the world that is stretched over 6 kilometers from point to point. Just one.
This has something to do with that. Hang on. We might have made a calculation error. I don't know, Rumpus. I went through the numbers again. And for a 2-meter sag, the end-to-end on the spectral line cable that will snap at 294 newtons, it will snap when end-to-end length is 2.6 kilometers.
Okay, well, I'll check that then. I mean, I haven't been through it absolutely thoroughly, but
Yeah, I did. I've rechecked this 3 times, and the length for the spectral line is 2.6 kilometers. 26.
But hold on, that's different to the value you told me when we did the 4 kilometer one that we did the other day. You're saying you've changed since then?
Well, I'm just telling you, this is what it works out to. If you have,
but 2 days ago we did the calculation. You said over 2 meters.
I'm telling you what it is. I've gone through the calculation.
Hold on, George, have you changed your opinion?
We were both tired then. We might have made a mistake.
So you've changed your calculation.
If you allow a 2-meter sag, and the spectral line, like I have, will snap at 294 newtons.
Listen, I was in the middle of asking the Rumpus.
Oh, shut up. The separation that you can have between the 2 ends before it snaps with that tension is 2.6 kilometers.
Yeah, you suck at math. We know.
I haven't derived that myself, George. So I mean, okay, if that equation's wrong, I have yet to do it myself, and I will derive it from first principles to check it and check it against.
The equation is not incorrect. The numbers we put in are the calculations.
Oh my God! Shut up. Rumpus, I have a 6-inch piece of rope in front of me, right? I pull it tight from end to end. Calculate what the sag is going to be.
Well,
there's not going to be any.
Thank you, Brian, for that.
Because it's pulled. There's not going to be any sag because
there will be some sag. It's physically impossible for there not to be sag.
Do it over a mile, then get back.
I'm talking about 6 inches. I got a 6-inch piece. Calculate the sag. There's not going to be any.
You idiot, because there isn't enough length between.
There's not going to be any sag.
But Jeremy, what has that got to do with the distance over a mile?
just showing you why your SAG calculator is wrong.
Your SAG calculator. I love you, Jeremy.
Jesus.
That's very well demonstrated in a
You guys
nutshell.
can laugh
6 inches,
like a bunch of
6
fucking
inches,
idiots.
and he claimed that there's going to be sag. Jesus freaking Christ!
There will be a microscopic amount of sag.
How much sag is there in a guitar string?
Jeremy, the principles that I'm
SAG
describing.
calculator is broken.
Jeremy, the principle that I'm describing is used for suspension bridges and things which we know work.
Yeah. Okay. How much sag is
Sometimes.
in a 6-inch line?
But that's a ridiculous test. You couldn't
Okay,
measure.
I got a microscope, dude. I got a microscope. Let's test it. How much sag is there going to be on a 6-inch line, you jackass?
You little twat. Just because you're too stupid to understand a thing doesn't say the rest of us actually.
I'm fucking with you, man. But dude, your answer should have been zero.
Last time you came on here, we demonstrated you were moron. You didn't even understand the geometry of a circle. But you don't.
Listen to your video. Listen to your video. You saying that there's more.
Moron. You're not.
Let's not go back down that circle road, please.
You stupid.
No chords versus arts tonight. Hey, hold on, guys. Hold on, guys. It's descending. Rumpus. Don't start. Let's get back to. I know. Okay.
He was the first one to deliver.
I don't care. Let's not get into
he was right as far as the math.
Let's satisfy him. Rumpus, let's satisfy him. Jeremy?
You're very quiet, George.
No, I'll calculate it for him. I'll calculate the same.
George, you sound like
There ain't gonna be
you're
Don't bother, dude. It was being facetious, man.
How much
they
are
were
you
being serious,
capable of
George.
taking in a line? How much are
Okay,
you
can
capable
somebody
of
take the
taking?
gazoo away from George's mouth?
George, your microphone's not very good. You need to.
All right.
Your external. Put your external microphone back in.
No, I'm not going to. Hang on.
We can barely hear you, George. You're very distorted.
Jesus.
You sound like Charlie
We can't
Brown's
hear
parents.
you, George. You're distorted.
Well, we can hear him fine, Rumpus. Hear him fine. What the hell?
Now listen, the point is, hold on. The point is, there's not going to be any fucking sag if I have 6 inches worth of line with. Let's say I have 550 paracord and I put 500 pounds on it. 6 inches away, there's going to be no sag in that line. I don't give
Jeremy,
a fuck what
you know
calculate.
nothing about this subject. Nothing.
I don't care what you
No,
calculate.
your model says there's going to be sag,
no
but in
sag.
real life, there's not going to be sag. Your model might say there's sag, but in real life, there is no fucking sag over 6 inches. Jesus Christ.
I've no doubt, Brian, you misused the calculator that you used and got the wrong answer just because you got the wrong
We're
answer.
not talking about the calculator.
I did not
We're
use the
talking about 6
calculator.
inches
I'm
worth
going
of-
off what I was told by my opposition, bro.
Oh, God. So you didn't even use the calculator. You just relied on some word of mouth idiot who gave you an answer.
Oh,
well
your
done,
team,
Brian.
okay?
You
A whole
utter
team of
moron.
y'all. A whole
Jesus
team of you
Christ.
guys, okay, was
dearie
referring to it.
me.
A
You never
professional
stop-
fisherman
you
and a
just
whole
can't
team
stop
of
being
people
an
on
idiot, can you?
Jose's, okay?
You're addicted to being an idiot.
So anyway, this
Rumpus,
idea
the
of
point
yours,
is-
Rumpus, the problem I have with it, Brian, you're getting echo back from your microphone. The problem that I have with it is that you don't have a baseline for what the actual realized sag is. You're talking about doing it over a kilometer, but what shape of the earth are you going to assume for your kilometer measurement, or are you going to do some kind of error band?
It doesn't matter. Because I was stopped by people like Matrix Media and other people interrupting me, and I was worried about making more than 4 or 5 points. I didn't get. I'll do this in the video because obviously I'm not going to. It doesn't make a difference. The position of the distance between the two suspension points doesn't have a problem with whether it's a spherical Earth or a flat Earth. The line itself will become the reference point, and it doesn't matter whether you want to do that on a spherical or a flat Earth. You have then an absolute curvature of the line, and that will be irrespective of whether the Earth is spherical or a flat.
You know, we'll
then all you
end
need
up
to do-
arguing about the curvature of the line. Rumpus.
Well, that's the point. That's the point. Right. That's
Right,
why, Brent,
well,
your first question about this was a valid one, which is how do we know that the maths for the curve matches reality? And as I said, if you do it over a kilometer, you can then match. You can then do tests on the values where the Earth is still very flat over a distance of a kilometer or so, or even 500 meters. You could then see if oh my God, you could then test against reality whether the maths is correct. So you could validate that the maths is correct, is what I'm saying.
What's your
So-
math
Yeah,
say for my
Rumpus, is
6
this
inch?
coming through
What's your,
okay?
what's your
Much
math
better,
say
George,
for my
much
6
better.
inch?
Yeah, it
Okay,
sounds
what's your
better.
math
shorter
say for my 6
distances.
For
inches?
Jeremy's sake, Brandon,
What's
just
your
for
math say
Jeremy,
for my 6
just
inches
for
of paracord,
Jeremy's
Rumpus,
sake here.
pulled tight, 500 pounds over 6 inches?
What's
the math say?
Hey,
Jeremy.
Jeremy, okay.
I think Jeremy's talking actually for Jeremy's sake. You know what I mean? So
Yeah, well,
shut up.
let's say
for a
you
second.
had, take
Talk
a
to him.
meter, take about a yard of my spectral line and hold it between your fists and say you have a strong enough chest to pull it with 100 pounds of tension from end to end. 1 meter or a yard. The amount of sag in that line is going to be 0.2 of a micron.
No, do the math. Listen.
I did do the math. It's 0.2 of a micron. But
He's given you the answer, Jeremy. You wanted an answer, and now you've got it.
No, that's what the math says it
How
would
do you
be.
know that? You idiot!
Hold
You're just
on.
saying it. You've no
When you
idea what you're
don't add-
talking about. You are a moron.
Right. What's the weight of the string?
I have 550 paracord. Putting 500
I
pounds
think the
of tension on it.
overcomes the gravity. Yeah.
I'm putting 500 pounds of tension on this 550 paracord over 6 inches. How much is that going to sag?
less than microns.
Immeasurable.
So it's not measurable. So you're just guessing if it even is sagging.
No, I just went
He's
through the
guessing.
calculation.
He
It's an
gave you a
absolute guess.
calculation, Jeremy.
Fuck your
Why
calculation.
have you
can't
become
take
more
a shit.
stupid over the last few weeks,
You can't
Jeremy?
take a
I had
shit without
hopes
taking
for
a
you, and you seem
calculation.
to be becoming more stupid with every day. What's going on?
Hey, Jeremy, your mic
can't
is a
wait
little
your-
low. Your mic's low, just so you know.
I'll be right back to yell at him. Hold on.
Okay.
Hell yeah.
We told you what the sag would be, and then you're claiming to disagree with it on the basis of doing no test whatsoever. When we tell it's a micron or so, your only answer is no. No, you don't have any basis for understanding what the hell is going on.
Well, it's
So
worse
you
than that.
weighed, I'm just trying to figure out how do we get the number, right? Did we weigh the string?
Okay, here we go. Am I good now?
Yeah,
You're
that's
not
better.
going to have any
Much
less
better.
weight per unit length than the
Fuck faces. Shut up, George.
fine.
Can you tell me that my string is sagging if you can't fucking measure it sagging?
Well, that's why we were suggesting go over a longer distance, you twat. What is the point of doing it over a foot or 6 inches when there's nothing measurable you can measure? But if you did it over, say,
fucking
100
sag.
yards, George can give you a value that you could go away and check.
How do you check it?
Well, over that,
You can't on a short line, you idiot. You have to use about a 1,000.
Don't try to save him. How do you check it, Rumpus?
you could do it against some water level. If you did it over water and over that distance, it's flat, and therefore you could then check the sag against the by checking its distance above a water level. It's a canal or something you did it against.
All right.
You can shoot it with a theodolite.
Yeah, or
1,000
theodolite. Yeah, that would do. Yeah,
feet is easy to do.
yeah. Thank you,
No,
George. That's
fuck
actually
your
better.
theodolite. Take that theodolite and shove it up your ass.
Yeah, that's how civil engineers build buildings, Jeremy.
No.
Yes, they do. They don't. That's what
Wait
they
a
rely
minute.
on. They
Did you
rely
just
on
say
optical measurements.
civil engineers build buildings by shoving theodolites up their asses?
Exactly. That's how they do it.
I just walked into this conversation.
Rumpus, you need to realize Jeremy is too incompetent to be having.
I had hopes for him. A few weeks ago, he showed signs of some sort of intellectual activity, but I don't know what's happened. Or something's been sucking
And I
his
warned
IQ
you.
out of his brain. He's got worse over the last couple of weeks. I spent
I
about
warned
2
you.
hours
No,
explaining to him about
he happened
bloody
to be better
optics,
at that
about
point.
how light
Yep.
laser bends in water, and it nearly killed me explaining to him for about 3/4 of an hour, and he didn't absorb any of it. God.
We had fun on Jose's that day.
Back to you,
Rumpus. We had.
Jeremy, repeat your top 10 comments of fucking dipshit here.
Yes.
First of all, Rumpus, we had a lot of fun on Jose's that day, okay? And I totally debunked your whole refraction bullshit. You still don't understand what looming is or anything. That's beside the point.
I mean, I'm not
point
even going
is-
to bother to respond to that. You just demonstrated just what a lost cause you are and how stupid you are. You didn't
You
even
wouldn't
understand
even-
the bending of light. It was just incredible.
You looming in your model and you're not able to think outside of your model.
I've got more imagination in my little finger than you've got in your whole brain, Brian.
Oh, you've got a big imagination, buddy.
I've got
You've
an
got a
enormous
very big
imagination, but I restrict myself to what's sensible, and to you that appears restricted, but it's enormous. I just filter out the crap.
Hey, Rumpus.
Yes,
Brian. Hey,
Mike.
Brian Rumpus. Jeremy would like to read a list if he has it handy. Jeremy, do you have your list handy by any chance?
Oh, fuck yeah, I got that list. Hold on a second.
It's a very interesting list, and I'd like to get your comment and thoughts on it if we might.
Yeah, tell me what.
Coming from Jeremy, what's the use?
Hold on a second.
Well,
Hold on,
he
I got you
curated
right
it
here.
himself, I believe, or got it somewhere. So,
yeah, hold on.
It is worthwhile.
Can I ask Rumpus a question?
A list of what?
Yeah, go ahead.
Hold on, it's a list.
I presume it's quotes from me or something he thinks I've got wrong, or he's misunderstood something I've said. No.
Here we go.
Rumpus.
Here we go. Ready?
Can you
Ready?
just
Hold on.
change the string for a light source instead of using a damn string?
Well, the trouble is
If you got, hold on, hold on.
I was trying to answer you.
If you got a light source at one end, right, and the observer at the other end, it's
but they
1
wanted
foot
to
off
wait.
the
They
ground.
wanted to do it without optics.
Hold on. The light source is 1 foot off the ground, no matter the distance. The observer is 1 foot off the ground. If he can see the light source, whether it takes optics or not, obviously there's nothing in the way of the light source. I've never seen a light come up over a hill.
They'll claim it to be
You
bending
don't.
around the Earth.
Are you familiar with refraction, James?
Oh boy,
We've never seen that. We've never seen that.
You've never seen what? You've never seen refraction?
Oh, the excuses they give are fucking revolutionary.
Oh, hold on. Let me just finish. Yes, we've seen refraction. Yes,
You have, right,
but
so
we've never seen. Hold on, Rumpus. We've never seen a light source go over a hill, right, and be seen again.
No.
No, never. When there's
So what?
something that's non-transparent
In the way, yes. When there's
in the
something
way
in
of the light source,
yes, you don't. It
you're not
stops
going
it,
to see the
yes.
light.
Brilliant.
Go
Well
ahead.
done, James. You've worked out that the things that are obstructing the light source obstruct the light source. Well done, James. You need to go and
You don't
lie down
understand
after
his
delivering
point,
that
Rumpus?
piece of intellectual insight.
You don't understand his
Rumpus,
point.
you don't understand.
Oh, I do. I know. I understand he's stupid.
He's
Well,
saying
he's
that how does it go
So
through
what
the
he's
water
trying to do,
bulge?
Rumpus, what he's trying to do, Rumpus, is equate the curvature of the Earth to a hill.
Well, it is a fucking hill in a sense, isn't it? It's a big mound, isn't it?
No, it isn't.
It
No, it
is if
isn't.
you're
Hold on,
looking
let me
from
read
point
this
A to
fucking-
point B.
Hold on, let me read this
I
list.
see what
Let me read
Rumpus
it.
is saying, but the so-called curve is what obscures objects, so we can no longer see them.
Yes.
You're saying that the light you can see again, but other objects such as a car that go over a hill, you see, you're like using.
What?
Hold on a second.
You do realise
Brad-
this is
hey,
things you can't get light from them, don't you, James?
Hey, Brandon.
My God. I mean, I
Brandon,
think,
would
Jeremy,
you-
you've just been displaced as the most stupid person on the
all
panel.
right, all right.
Go ahead, Jeremy.
Please, let me finish.
Why?
Brandon,
I wasn't even talking.
Hold on,
I
guys.
know, but
Go ahead,
you
George.
have
Hold on,
got a record so far on this.
George, go ahead.
Go ahead, George.
Come on. Hold on. Let me speak. Brandon, would you call a hill a mound that's 2 inches high over a mile?
No, but how far until you would
Okay,
call
well,
it a
that's
hill,
what you have
George?
for the
Hold
curvature
on,
of the
hold
Earth.
on. How far
That's what you
until
have
you
for the
would call
curvature
it a
of the Earth.
hill?
So you're gonna
It
call that a
increases
hill?
exponentially. So how far
No,
until you would call it a hill?
No,
Yes,
it's not
it
an
does.
exponential. It's a squared.
Okay,
Square is
so
not
it
an
increase whatever you want to call it. It increases squared. Let's say that. Would you what
Hold on.
point would you call it a hill? How far until you would say that it's a hill?
It's
But
not
it
a
does
hill.
obscure stuff.
Okay.
Hold on, Rumpus. Rumpus, hold on.
The
Hold on
curvature
a
there
second.
obscure stuff. That's why things disappear from the bottom
Yeah,
up.
yeah, we
Right,
know. We know.
right. Let's hear Jeremy's
Hold
list,
on.
There's
guys.
your hill in action.
Hold on, Rumpus. I want you to tell me the stupidest thing you've ever heard after I read these comments. Ready? Gases or solids? You think that's stupid?
QE misunderstand. Yes, this is when I said to QE that did he think, did he understand?
Stay in order and wait
Be
till we
quiet,
get to the
be
end
quiet,
to
Brian. I'm responding. He misunderstood what I said because he's a moron. And I said that the atoms inside a gas are solid. And if anybody who thinks that an atom of say hydrogen is in any way be quiet, Matt. Be quiet, you moron. Be quiet,
Brian,
moron.
let the man talk. Let the man
Right.
talk.
So I said that the atoms inside a gas are solid, and of course, because QE's a moron,
Dude, we're gonna get a 10-minute
I want everybody to listen to the.
You prat, I'm responding.
Brian, I just want everybody to listen to the nonsense.
Be quiet, you twat. Be quiet, twat.
Brian,
Hold on, Brian.
Let him spit that nonsense. Let him spit that nonsense.
Right. So when I said to him, I specifically said it's the atoms inside a gas solid, but because he's a moron and can't understand English, he then thought, I don't know whether he did this willingly, he then said, I thought that I was saying that gas is solid. The atoms inside a gas are just as solid as the atoms inside a solid. And of course, that's too subtle for QE. That's too subtle for QE.
Brian, let him respond.
And Jeremy, the fact that you're repeating this, and I appreciate you're just assuming because you obviously adore QE or something, the guy's a moron and he can't even remember what he's been told. So he's reinterpreted this and he's just feeding you crap. But anyway, carry on.
The lens of the human eye is concave.
I did get, I was very tired. I did get that briefly wrong. I corrected myself a few seconds later.
All right. Gases effectively have little springs on them, pulling them towards the Earth.
That's correct. That's why gases do not leave the Earth. They're effectively held by their gravity. Because I keep on saying the force of gravity acts on these molecules, and people like QE and other people, possibly yourself, don't understand this. So then the way I thought I might visualize it to help you, the morons, out, was to say, imagine that every little molecule has got a little spring on it connecting it to the Earth. And I was hoping that might give you an insight as to how gravity works. But whether that's actually worked or not, I don't know.
Let me understand this.
Hold on, we're not done. Guys, we're not done. Measuring things is not maths.
Sorry? You did miss the start of that.
Measuring things is not maths.
Correct. That's absolutely correct. So for the point about maths derivation is that if you derive a formula, that's maths, but just the act of measuring, that's how science works. You come up with a theory about how something works, you create a mathematical equation for it, and then you go out and measure it. So if I go out and measure something, say with a ruler,
for God's sakes, man.
Jesus Christ, with a ruler, I'm not doing maths. Although you may have to do maths to work out the measurement part of it, is you're doing a real world physical measurement of something. And then using maths, you might convert it into inches or centimeters or kilograms if you're measuring a voltmeter, for instance, the voltmeter is effectively a digital voltmeter is doing maths for you. So the act of measurement is not a mathematical operation.
You just shit on so many arguments from the ball, and you shit on your own model so much with what you just said.
No, I don't. No, I didn't. You just don't understand it, I'm afraid, Brandon.
I do. I do.
I mean, you seem to be demonstrating some levels of intelligence in this panel so far.
Hold on.
Hold
on, Rumpus.
Your good work.
Hold on. We're on number 6.
Demonstrates.
Pendulums go around in a figure 8.
That's correct. If you have a large pendulum, like a focal pendulum, it goes in a figure of 8. That's why it rotates. We've got videos of it doing this. Any video you see of a focal pendulum action, it goes around in a figure of 8. And the fact that Nathan and EQE, I even point out the time to Nathan. Nathan, go and look at a video of a pendulum, focal pendulum action. Just let it swing and it goes in a figure of 8.
You are a fucking retard.
Brian, you're a moron. You can't even get your phone sorted.
Here we go. Number 5.
Than usual.
Number 5. There's no such thing as natural. Hold on. Number 5, there's no such thing as natural laws.
Correct. No, he's added an S there. I never said the S. He goes on about this thing called natural law. There is no such thing in science. And he has added on that S there because he didn't listen to what I said, because he's a moron and can't even remember he's been told. There's no such thing as this thing that Nathan and QE got about called natural law. There are the laws of physics and the laws of nature, but there's no such thing as natural law. That is something that's in a lawyer's textbook about natural law. They go on about that thing. Science, you'll never see the word mentioned natural law. They talk about the laws of nature or the laws of physics. There's no such thing as natural law. And for some reason, QE's invented this term. QE's invented this term for some reason. He seems to then refer to it as some sort of gospel-like thing. No such thing exists. It's made up by QE. Carry on.
All right, number 4. The second law of thermodynamics doesn't apply to the Earth.
Correct, because it's not an isolated system. And of course, QE doesn't understand the difference between the second law of thermodynamics and entropy.
My God, Rumpus. Holy shit.
For months and months, QE was saying, along with Nathan, that entropy was the same as the second law of thermodynamics. And it's only about 3 months ago, when I used to hammer this home to him, he's now changed that. He now says the second law of thermodynamics applies to entropy, but he's still not really sure. So he doesn't understand the difference in the second law of thermodynamics and entropy, and he doesn't understand that because the Earth is not an isolated system, it receives lots of energy from the sun. Therefore, the second law of thermodynamics is all about what happens in an isolated system. So that doesn't apply to the Earth. Carry on.
All right. The second law.
Hold on a second. 4 times. Right.
Yeah,
Jeremy asks you one question and you take 5 minutes.
I have to make the point.
Hold on. Let me just get through this. Guys.
Hold on, Jeremy. I've got to make this important point. People like QE don't listen. So I have to repeat myself 4 times, and even then, with the quotes that Jeremy's giving you are all things that either he's not understood, and half of them are actual misquotes. Because that's why I repeat myself, to make absolutely sure, well, best I can, that people like you and QE don't misquote me. It still happens, and I accept it because people are morons. Carry on,
What
Jeremy.
happens, mate? Hold on, Matrix. You see what happens when you talk to him? Then he goes off for another 5 minutes. Just don't even talk to him. Second law of thermodynamics is also known as the law of entropy. Anyways, let's move on. You don't need to have a cause to establish a cause and effect relationship.
I never said that.
Said that?
He misunderstood me again.
All right. Well, I'm sure we'll scrounge up the clip of you saying that. All right.
I mean, there are actually effects without causes. This is what happens in quantum mechanics. Radioactive decay, you get an effect without a cause. It does happen. And this is one of the reasons why we believe the universe came into existence.
So you agree?
It seems to me,
an
and I mean to
effect without a cause.
Yes, Paige.
Without an explainable cause.
How can something happen without something causing it to happen?
This is what happens in quantum mechanics.
How?
That's the arrogance of this thing. Since I can't see it, it doesn't
I'm
exist.
explaining to you, and you're interrupting my answer.
No, you're not. You're just saying.
I'm explaining.
No, you're not. You're just repeating that these things happen. You're not actually explaining why.
You keep saying, well, in quantum physics.
Explain it to you, and
yeah, in quantum physics, these things happen. Yeah, these things happen. Yes, I understand that, Rumpus. I'm asking you, how can you have an effect without a cause? No, listen to the question.
I've heard the question.
Listen to the question.
You moron. I've heard the question. You ignorant moron. Right.
Hold on.
Well, you're an asshole.
My God, I'm trying to answer your
You've done nothing but insult everybody here, and no one has said anything nasty to you.
So badly to answer the question.
The answer,
he just will not stop.
So badly to answer the question.
I'm going to give
Guys, hold on.
So badly wants
You won't understand the answer, but I'm going to give it to you.
Hold on, we're almost done, guys.
I'm going to give the answer to that Paige's question. Sorry, Jamie. It will take just a few seconds.
You're only on number 2.
I'm going to give it. It's very quick. In quantum mechanics, things happen randomly. That's a fundamental part. This is why Einstein rejected quantum mechanics. But it's a fundamental part of quantum mechanics. And therefore, we have things like radioactivity, which happen without a cause. Go ahead, Jeremy.
He literally just said the same thing again. We have things that happen without a cause. I ask him how. He says in quantum mechanics we have things that happen without a cause. But he just spent 10 minutes going on and on and on about how I wouldn't understand.
Right, but he never
fucking said anything.
What he needed to say to be more accurate is it's a theory.
Quantum mechanics is at its
and
heart.
It's not that we know that it actually does or does not do a thing.
Genuinely random.
It is just a theory that cannot explain.
Hold on, Graham. Hold on. Go ahead, Rumpus.
It's been validated on numerous. Well, but all of science has validated this process, but Einstein rejected it, and he was wrong. Carry on.
All of science? Wow.
Yes,
that's a lot of people.
Agree. There's no one. Well, I'm not sure. There's no.
He still doesn't explain what is actually happening, what the effect is that has no cause.
He can't. Remember, there's no cause, so you can't say what. That's very convenient.
The fact you cannot have an effect
without a cause, even if you don't know what the cause is yet, there will be one.
There is no cause. Right.
In quantum mechanics, you can have effects without causes.
QE's gonna.
Well, you are an absolute.
QE is going to tear this shit up.
I mean, the fact you're stupid and don't understand it and you're ignorant of science is your problem, not mine.
No,
QE
just
is gonna
because you
tear
don't know
this
what the
shit
cause
apart.
is yet doesn't mean you can
You're
say things
science
happen
deniers.
without a cause. How
You're
fucking
science
stupid to say something
deniers.
happens without a cause.
You're
You
science
absolute moron.
You are
Hold on,
just
we're
a
almost
science
done.
denier.
Hold on, we're
Rumpus,
almost
you
done.
can kind
Guys,
of see
You're the
how
one
you're the
denying
science
science. You're the one saying
denier.
things
No,
happen
this
without
is
a
what
cause.
says,
It's
Paige.
You can
literally
see how
magic.
this. You're
Literally
denying that something
magic,
is
Rumpus.
happening.
Things happen
you
without a
don't
You're
know
cause.
literally
anything
that's
How
about
literally what
fucking
science denier is. You want to deny
on,
that
guys,
something's actually
guys.
happening there. You're just saying it just without a cause is.
So, Jeremy, do you want
That's
to finish?
science denier.
We're almost done.
Yeah,
So
ask
you
me.
agree that you can't have an effect without a cause?
Correct.
QE,
He just said,
All of
he just
that
yelled
for
at me
that.
that I'm a moron because
think what's being
effects
missed
have
here,
no
We heard it.
cause,
We
and
heard
then
it.
you say,
We
does the
heard it.
effect have a
things
cause?
happen
And he says yes.
serendipitously. Some
All
things
right.
What
happen
a
No.
fucking, you are a
spontaneously.
double-speaking,
No, you're not
funding
listening. He
moron,
said the
you don't
Rumpus.
opposite.
understand what I'm
You
Jeremy
saying.
just
asked him
said,
the opposite.
you
You're
just
too stupid to
agreed
understand
Holy
that
what I'm
shit,
effects
saying.
ladies.
need
And you are a
causes.
science
You
for a
just
second.
agreed.
Right.
You are
You
a
just
science
agreed with him,
denier.
you
That's
idiot.
not what he
Oh
said.
boy,
You
this
just
is
You're yelling.
helpful. Come on.
agreed with him.
Hold
Let's hear the
on,
last
guys,
one.
guys,
Fuck
guys.
with, my God.
Hold on. We're almost through this. Two more. Number 2, you don't have to be conscious to make an observation.
No, that's not. No, I've never said that. He's got mixed up.
We'll find the clip. All right, we'll find the
No,
audio
he
clip of
said-
you saying
he
that.
said
It's fine.
that. He's actually attributed that to someone else previously. You've mixed up. He's obviously misremembered his own attribution. I think he claimed that was made. Who did he? He's attributed that quote to someone else, not me, and perhaps he's misremembered it and then fed it to you recently. He's got his list mixed up.
All right, we'll find the quote of you saying it. It's fine. Number 1, air is not the atmosphere.
Correct.
Dun, dun, dun.
Right, now let me explain. This really should not be difficult for anybody.
Oh, God, you have to, yeah, okay, a bit of air is not the
explain
whole atmosphere. We understand,
You've
Rumpus.
already
Please, for fuck's
tried.
sake, don't go on for another half an hour. Please.
There's only one atmosphere. That's the thing that's there's only one Earth's atmosphere. That's one thing. It has a particular mass. It has a particular
he is
weight.
going to go on.
It has a particular temperature. There's only one of it.
No, it doesn't.
But what you can do, what you basically got there, Jeremy, is a fallacy of composition and division. So if I, for instance, beach, if I say something like Chesil Beach, which is a beach in Britain, and I go and grab some of the sand from it, have I got Chesil Beach? No, I've got some of the sand from Chesil Beach. And when I grab I get in a glass chamber.
All right, we understand. We understand.
I'm nearly there.
We're not in kindergarten, Rumpus, for fuck's sake.
Be quiet. So if I go and get a chamber full of air, that has got a mixture of particular gases in it that mean what we call air. That is not the same thing as the particular number of molecules we've got in the atmosphere that surrounds the Earth. That it's called, look up fallacy of composition, fallacy of division. The fact that you've got a component like some sand off a beach is not the same as the beach. Should be really simple to anybody above about
yeah. You're talking
fallacies. It's called ocean sand.
It was
because
really
it moves from one
simple.
place to the other.
It was more simple than you made it seem.
So it's not
It's
the same
called
as a
ocean
beach,
sand,
is it?
yeah.
So if I say it's not
Did you
the
know
same
that
as
other
Chesil
than
Beach,
water,
so although
just
Chesil Beach is
seems that
made
we're
of
on
sand,
ocean sand, I'm just going to
if I
say this
take a
real
part
quick.
of Chesil
It's
Beach away,
useless
I cannot
knowledge.
have Chesil Beach. Chesil Beach is
But
still
you do
there.
have
got
a
it,
bit of Chesil
Rumpus.
Beach.
Yes,
Shut up.
Rumpus, we get it, Rumpus.
But you do have a bit of Chisel Beach, don't you?
Hold on now. Let me sort of defend Rumpus in a way, because it
Chisel
seems
Beach
like,
in a
and I
box.
mean no disrespect. I mean no disrespect here, but you're asking him questions about silly answers that he's answered.
No, they're all sensible
presenting-
answers. They're all
let me
sensible
finish.
answers.
Let me
except the ones
finish.
for misquotes. Well,
Wow.
don't say they're silly answers. They're not. They are very, very sensible answers. But
He's like addicted to the sound of his own fucking voice.
Yeah, let me finish, Rumpus.
Hey, Rumpus.
But you're
yes.
asking him about the answers that he's done in a question form that kind of mocks and ridicules him.
Uh-huh.
No,
And it's like you're expecting him to
I'm
not
denying
defend
any
himself.
of the. They're all correct, you moron. All the ones that are
So
correctly
the
quoted.
best way,
are correct.
like I said, I'm not talking to you, Rumpus.
Don't imply that I'm
not
somehow
talking to you.
rejecting them. I'm not. All the ones that are correct quotes, which is about 3/4 of them, are absolutely 100% correct.
Okay, now the only thing I was going to mention is when you do that, if you ever do it again, you need to have the clips in context ready. So you ask him the question, he answers it, then you play the context. I mean,
We got the quotes.
If you don't
we got
do
the
that,
quotes.
it's
No, we
kind
got
of
the
pointless
quotes.
to
QE's
even
gonna
do it.
we got the quotes on audio
very
clips.
specific point of
Where
making
are they?
sure
Where are
every
they, Jeremy?
sentence that I say does
You
not
can
require
play
context.
him saying one thing and saying something
No, you just
exactly the opposite 5 seconds later, and he will still deny it. He will still deny that he's double speaking. He's because he will not stop talking long enough to actually listen to anybody. He just keeps going on and on and on. So he says, like just before, when he was asked, so do effects have causes? He said correct, because he's so
Hold on, there's
busy
too many
just
people talking at
talking.
once, guys.
He won't stop.
Rumpus.
Man, I want to talk too. I'm a mollywop from
Hold on,
the
Graham.
Me too, Graham. Hey, Graham, how you doing, Graham? Let's all talk. What's up, guys?
Thanks for stopping by, Rumpus. Appreciate it, man.
Did you mute him?
I'm really enjoying the show.
That's the only way to stop it.
Whenever Rumpus isn't talking, I'm enjoying the show.
All right. We got all those clips.
Hey.
Rumpus has in his whole brain.
Listen, we got all those clips and audio of him saying that shit. So QE's going to tear that apart. I'm going to have to forward him this video because he's going to have a field day with that shit.
He was right about one thing, though. He's got far more imagination than us.
I know, that's what I thought too when you said that. Yeah, Howard, did you say something?
Yeah. And y'all may already know this, but this is important. Do you know the difference between people in Dubai and Abu Dhabi?
Dubai and Abu Dhabi.
Yeah, Abu Dhabi.
No, I honestly don't. I know a little bit about Dubai, but no, I don't. I'm not that familiar with them.
Well, the people in Dubai don't like the Flintstones, but the people in Abu Dhabi do.
Oh my God.
Abu Dhabi do.
That was actually pretty good. That was the best thing I've ever heard Left Lane say. Nice work, Left Lane.
And here I was worried about admitting that I was ignorant about geography.
Abu Dhabi. That is the.
So anyway,
we probably learned more
that was
from
exciting
that than we have in the past 30 minutes.
That was exciting.
Yeah, somebody will have fun quote mining that little tirade there. So what's going on? Travis, you still around? No, he booked, huh?
Yeah, because I found his fucking temperature inversion.
You think he ran away?
No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
If you guys felt the need to educate somebody on a daily basis, would you call him a moron every other sentence?
No, Xanax
it's
does the
different.
same thing.
He's not there for
Rumpus.
that. He's here for he's sick in the head.
Xanax does the same thing Rumpus
Why
does.
is he here? Why is he even here if he's not trying
It's almost
to
like
quote educate?
It's almost like you can't take offense to that, but I mean, and I know that's not the right thing to say, but
No,
it's
yeah, I
almost
got
like
you.
he can't help it, you know?
It's like it's the behavior that comes with such a mindset.
No, he's a special human being.
Air molecules, that atoms for air are solids. Are you kidding me?
Gases are solids.
Knowing he was going to give 10 I thought you was going to do the whole list and give him a chance to respond. I didn't know we were going to get 10 monologues out of
Sorry. Listen,
guys.
QE's
It
gonna
just
eat that shit. QE's gonna tear that shit apart when he hears this. Wait, we'll have a good response probably.
Man, I wished you would have had those audio clips ready though. That would have been great because you could have let him answer those questions, and then just
Well, he
kinda
agreed. He agreed to all
played
of
it
them.
in
But
content.
he agreed to all of them, but one or two.
Was QE pinning him down to having to say that? In every context where he's talking about air is not atmosphere because they were talking about the atmosphere and what
They're
air
so
does.
deluded.
And he had him pinned down where he had to say air is not atmosphere because he was cornered. And that's what happened.
Yeah, I listened to it. I listened to almost the videos of all those questions, so I knew where Rumpus was lying, deceiving. But I will say one thing: to get something in context, sometimes it does take you got to rewind 10 minutes
Well, wasn't he actually talking about air in a jar or something like that? And then QE was trying to say that the air in that jar, because it came from the atmosphere, that it was the atmosphere. Wasn't that what the context was?
Yeah. He said, "Can you
I
grab
don't
it?"
think so.
Huey said,
I
"Can you
think
grab
he
it?"
over
He
explains the
said,
thing
like,
to
put it
make
in
it
a
look
jar.
like you don't understand what they're talking about. Like he took it out of context. I'm certain, because I know QE's not a complete idiot like
I'll
that.
tell you exactly what it
Doesn't make any
was.
sense.
It's when he was talking about air and what air does, and they're talking about the second law of thermodynamics and what air does. And Rumpus said when he was talking about the atmosphere, and Rumpus
Yeah,
cornered. He
semantics.
had to say that air is not the atmosphere. In other words, he's trying to make it sound like air should not follow the rules, or the atmosphere should not follow the rules of air. So he had to say that air is not the atmosphere because he was cornered. He was cornered like a
Right. It's a
I don't
sidetrack
remember it that
issue.
way.
Huey is very observant on what comes out of his mouth, whereas Rumpus is just a garbage. You know what I mean? It's like he doesn't care what he says and how it's going to affect him later. QE is very observant on what's going to come up later and how it's going to play
sorry,
a
I meant to
role.
say it was about gas pressure, guys. My bad. It was about gas pressure, and Rumpus
Right.
was saying that he was saying the atmosphere ain't air, and so he was saying that air is not the atmosphere because the atmosphere doesn't follow the laws that normal air does. It was ridiculous, dude. It was him cornered, but it was about gas pressure. Sorry.
Well, Atmo stands for air.
Well, in his worldview, it doesn't, right? Because gravity is what
Well, it doesn't
creates the
matter. The word
pressure
is
on his
defined.
worldview about the Earth, right? But gravity is not what creates the pressure next to a vacuum when you're already on Earth trying to do an experiment in a laboratory. It's like you can't.
Well, that's
do
why
that.
in the field of
So
science,
he's mad.
they're
about that.
very precise on their definitions of words. They agree on terms beforehand, so there's no, Atmo means air. No, it doesn't. There's none of that. They agree on terms beforehand.
Right.
Yeah, and let's be real.
They could have been something as simple as someone saying that the this is atmospheric air, like this is atmosphere, not meaning this is the entire atmosphere, but this is of the atmosphere. This air is from, you know what I mean?
Yeah, but let's
It's
talk
atmospheric
about gas
pressure and then captured in a regular mason jar at atmospheric pressure. So this is
about this as a
atmosphere would be kind of colloquial for saying this is at atmospheric pressure.
I don't know, man. If you think of
I don't
everything
know.
as a whole,
Seems
you
like
think if
somebody
think
like
of a
Zanuck
big
would be real
stretch.
pedantic and make a semantic argument out of something just so he can, get out of having to admit that you can't have gas pressure without next to a vacuum without some sort of a mechanism at play that they don't like to talk about.
Barrier, container.
Other than gravity.
Anyway, somebody else was trying to talk.
No, it ain't no
When you
big
think
deal. I was
about
just
the
saying,
whole-
hey, I don't know if y'all can hear me, but if you think about the Earth,
Mhm.
if you look at it on a macro level, and you think of the little itty bitty old Earth, like they like to picture it in the universe, as a small little teeny little bubble, okay, and then you think of a 10 to the negative 17 torr vacuum, infinitely large around it. I mean, then picture that on Earth. Picture a tiny atom in your mind that's an air bubble, and picture everything around us a vacuum. There's no way that thing would disperse in a heartbeat. It's just from a common sense level. And how would a star form to begin with? And how could Jupiter, okay, or Saturn, these big balls of gas, how in a vacuum, how could they form to begin with? They have to have a response, but it defies common sense, man, and that's where a lot of these
They can only.
Well, no, there's actually more than one
that
answer
could
to
only
that
occur.
question.
That can only occur like the planets being made and shit from the Big Bang. That can only occur within the minds of men.
No, in the laboratory, they actually with
as
electromagnetics and plasmas, right? In the laboratory, they actually make these little things that we say that only gravity can do, and all this stuff.
With electricity, though, with electricity.
Yeah, exactly. Right.
Yeah, they don't know how to make a sun. They don't know how to make a star.
Only
Because
now
they know
they
what they
don't,
are.
but the guys from the Electric Universe do, because they've actually made with the Sapphire project an electric model of the sun, with the ion speeding up as it moves away from the cathode, which the sun. They have anode tufts, which are analogous to sunspot activity. They have discharges
No, they're not
analogous
though.
to.
They just think they are. In my
No,
opinion.
they're analogous because they are scalable. Like plasma is a scalable
Yeah, but
physics, like
no,
10 to
no.
the
Here's
39th
my
order.
point. Here's my point. Let me
And so
get
what
to my
you can
point.
do in a little
Have
thing,
you
you
heard
can
of
also do with
reverse
a big thing.
engineering?
Right.
Have you heard of
That's what.
reverse engineering?
Of course I have.
Okay,
Like,
so
I
if
don't
they
believe in big
know
bangs
what the
and black
sun
holes and all
is,
that shit.
if they know what the sun is, they should be able to make one. It's called reverse
Right.
engineering.
We're talking about two different theys, right? They, being the standard narrative fuckers, are never going to figure it out when they keep telling you it's blowing up nuclear explosions from the inside and all that nonsense.
No,
They're
they
never
as in
gonna,
the ones that claim they know what it is. That's what I meant.
Well, so what would happen if they made a sun on
right. That's
planet
the
Earth?
standard narrative people that they claim they know what
Well,
it
they
is.
wouldn't care. They would have the
Well,
baddest
hell,
weapon available.
yeah, it would be history. It would kill us all.
But the Sapphire
Be the
Project
baddest weapon available.
has made a model
It's
that.
been suppressed, man. It's suppressed because it doesn't follow their
No,
math and their model.
Never mind.
can't
They've
create the
changed the
sun,
atom.
man.
They changed helium into what you call it, man, and sapphire, man. Look into that. I don't want to misquote them, but they've changed and they've demonstrated different things of what we see, man. They've demonstrated on a smaller scale. It is scalable. That guy's right.
They have.
Are you
They've got
talking like,
transmutation of
I think it's
elements.
called sonoluminescence or something like that?
That
No,
is
that's
Is that what
different.
you're
interesting too,
talking
but
about?
that's not what I'm talking about.
It's
Look into
interesting
sapphire,
too,
man.
but it's different than the Sapphire Project. The Sapphire Project is a low pressure, what is it, hydrogen experiment where they're mimicking the atmosphere of space as far as what they've been told that it is, and adding the electric current from the two sides of the anodes as they see the torus field of the sun. So they're trying to mimic everything with the same gases, the same, stuff that's out there, and they're ending up with a production of elements and stuff from the hydrogen, and they're not sure exactly how it's happening, but they can dial it up and dial it down with a particular current. And I don't know if they're not sure how it's happening, but they're not divulging much more than it is a transmutation of elements. And that they have investors and stuff that need to do something with this energy.
They'll
whatever.
back us up that there ain't no black holes or any of this
Right.
fucking neutron.
There's no need for all that
neutron
stuff.
star.
No.
A tablespoon
Yeah.
of matter weighs as much as Earth. They understand
It's
where
just
to draw the
dumb.
line. I think they're off as far as their scale goes, and in my personal opinion, I don't. They do believe. I think most of them believe that there's light years and things like that, and they believe in the math of the modern astronomy. But I believe if they started from scratch and took away the gravity and inserted the electro aspect of it, I think they'd come up with a whole scalable universe here in local terms. That's why I was asking earlier about do people think planets are just lights or what they think they are? To me, it's fascinating to look into that shit, and that's where I like to go with it.
Because they talk about plasma redshifting light in the laboratory and stuff, and they show how that happens. So all of these distances that they're telling us these things are, and that the universe is expanding, and this redshift is a proof of it. It's not true, because the light actually redshifts through plasmas, and there's dark mode plasmas all over the place. I mean, a guy, I don't know if you guys know Zanuck, but Zanuck didn't even know that the solar wind was a plasma, that dark mode plasma, right? Like, and all stars have this, obviously, and heliopauses. They're all, you know what I mean? Like, real similar in that aspect, that they have their own plasma, solar winds, and all of that stuff.
I find something. My bad. I
think that
what
they
I
know
find.
things
Hold on a
that
second.
are
I cut
true,
Grim
and they're
off so
holding
I could
truth
get in, bro.
Yeah, my bad. I'll mute.
No, it's all good. Just let me get one sentence out real quick. I just find it highly impressive the thin line Grim walks, because flat earthers sometimes hate them, and so do the Globers. So it's impressive. Anyways, go ahead. Sorry.
Thanks, dude. It's not easy. I'll be honest.
Whoever was going to talk, go ahead. My bad.
Yeah, I was just going to try to say that there's no question that they have truth about what's up in the sky. I mean, if you and I wanted to do experiments in the sky, we got to get permission from the FAA. They're holding truth and unrighteousness so they can present to us in ways that fit, I guess you would say, the model. But
right, but their data is
like
conflicting with their model.
Most Globers look at flat Earth. So most Globers look at flat Earth, right? And they picture a flat disk in the solar system. Now, I don't speak for all flat earthers, but in my opinion, the sun, moon, and stars are up there for the Earth. The Earth is not up there with them.
Yeah, you're retarded.
That's one of the biggest problems is hold on. That's one of the biggest problems is they always try to use their outer space model when they're doing observations and saying, oh, look, it matches the globe model. Well, you're also using another fucking sky model that you got.
They
you know what I mean? Now
put
they're
a
using two
pizza
models.
In the middle of the galaxy.
Yeah, they're not even
make
thinking
fun of
what I'm
us
saying
because
is
they think that's our model.
Yeah, what I'm saying is, in my opinion, me as a flat earther, they're not even thinking in the right context of the argument.
The way I view it, the whole Earth is the universe, and then there's a little bit above us, you know. And I like the question on what them things are up there. But when you look at these guys at Sapphire and all that, it shows you what the smartest minds, the best experimentation on Earth is. That they don't know what they claim that they know is like they do in mainstream science, pseudoscience, talking about the black holes and all this fairy tale shit. It shows you what the real experiments and Sapphire and all these things. It shows you that they're still trying to put it together. And I think they're caught up. I think if them guys would start from square one with scale and all that stuff, they wouldn't come up with a damn universe.
That's what's funny.
Well, you gotta remember
talking about
too.
models all the time, right? They're always talking about the models, these Globers, right? They're always talking about, well, you know, my model this, my model that. Well, in the electric universe, they have physical models that explain and replicate like the rotational velocities of galaxies, and they have physical models that represent the sun that show the steady spectrum of the light and the output and everything like the sun in an electric model. And they don't have any models that can produce anything like that. So they don't have a model of what they say it is. All they can, do is create new forms of physics and shit and say, no, it's got to be some form of matter that's out there that doesn't interact with normal matter in a regular way. And it has to be, and it's just fucking ad hocery. And I don't know why they do it, but
that model that they give us, hold on, let me get in here for a minute. Look, that model that they give us is like Mickey Mouse shit. That's like Disney Club shit that they give to the masses. Because you got to remember that real technological advances, real technological secrets are weapons in total war situation. And we have been under a total war situation for about a century now. And it really ramped up after World War II when they were preparing for the third total war in the last 100 years that hasn't come yet. But if you don't think they're hiding major secrets and major technological advances as total war assets, then you're out of your mind.
The best part about this war is most people don't even know what's happening.
To me, it's even about the language.
The Earth is so dynamic when it comes to models. It cannot be modeled. You cannot model the Earth. It's impossible.
Brandon, Jeremy, I was just reading the definition for ionosphere, right? And even in the language that the things that they write, like you could easily interpret this a different way. Like when Globers ask for proof of the dome, you could give them this. The definition for the ionosphere. They literally telling us there's something up there.
Mm-hmm.
Why couldn't that be the dome? You know what I'm saying? Why couldn't we use that same language to interpret the same things that we're talking about?
Right.
Well, welcome to my world. That's what I've been saying for the beginning of flat Earth. And it's trying to give those answers to you guys. That's the whole. That's how you. Am I not talking? Am I coming through here?
Yeah,
Hello?
you're low to me, man. I apologize. I think that's twice now.
No worries. Fuck, but yeah, but the whole thing about having gas pressure in a vacuum, plasmoids do that, and that's what the Earth has around it. It's surrounded by a magnetosphere and an ionosphere. It's literally a magnetic entity in space that allows pressure to form inside of it.
Couldn't those be the
through the
gradients?
forcing of the ions. Yeah, it could be from the electric gradient on the
exosphere,
gas.
the ionosphere, the thermosphere. Could all those just be the gradients that we all keep talking about?
Yeah, it really could be. And so
It's
that's
a
just one of
temperature
those things.
gradient, man. And temperature acts hand in hand with pressure. And but
Well,
I'm telling you,
no,
when
it's a
you were heating
different.
it up, that's why the gradient moves up and down. It's dynamic, like the guy said. They can never pinpoint this shit. It's dynamic, dude. And they don't want to admit that they don't know everything, man. When they start going past 20 miles or in places that they've probably never been, then they're in La La Land. Shout out to SC Montreal.
So it gets really hot in the thermosphere in some places, up in one of these plasma streams. What they're calling hot is a different kind of hot.
Go-Fast rocket. You look at the Go-Fast rocket, it went up to 72 miles, and it kept getting colder, down to negative 252 degrees. It never got hotter. It didn't show what the instruments on some of these amateur balloons are showing. It keep colder. It's not what they're saying unless they were outright lying, and there's a few of them to look at. The good instrumentation shows it getting colder, until it hit this point where they just didn't go no higher. So we'll never know unless amateurs and honesty goes up that high, because I think past that height we can get stories.
I would agree with that, actually.
All right. Well, no one. There was like 10 seconds there where no one actually talked. No one had anything to say for 10 seconds. Mark your calendars down, folks.
Yeah, but that guy that I interrupted,
Call fell
I
off.
interrupted somebody.
I'm okay.
Yeah, I interrupted somebody, and he said, "Am I not talking?" It's like, where was that guy when Rumpus was here? And would that have worked?
No, Rumpus never stops. He's like relentless. Like this, it's his mother calling, and he's still gonna teach you a lesson first. You utter. I was like, what are you doing? Pulling on the utter so much.
Rumpus gives responses on.
Are you
on
milking
how
a cow?
works, man. We're looking to see how reality works. We understand. They think we don't, but we understand for the most part how their model would explain it. Like when Jeremy said, 6 inches of rope, 500-pound, or even like 1,000-pound rope, 6 inches. In reality, man, look, there's no stag, man. It's just common sense type of thought, But hold on, the math. Look at the math. Wait, there's a zigadillionth of a fucking micron of drop. We're trying to look at reality, not how their model. Maybe that wasn't the best explanation.
No, I see what you're trying to say there, but I will say this: you can put a chain up on the tailgate of the truck, right? And you can do it hand over hand till you get to the end of the chain. That's a lot lighter than picking the entire chain up and putting it on the tailgate. So once you have the entire chain or rope in the air, you will have all of its weight. And the longer it is, it's going to weigh a lot.
I wasn't the best of examples, but we're trying to come up with, we're thinking of it in terms of reality, what's going on around us. That wasn't the best of example, but they're explaining things on how it happens in their model. Like, in their model, atom is solid. Air molecule atom is solid. And me, when I think of that, that's ridiculous, dude. It's goddamn ridiculous to think that air is solid on any level, man. And
well, I just think that it's getting. I find it ironic that it's getting to the point where we're talking about stretching a line across the earth, because I read this book once, and it asks a question. It asks, when talking about the earth, it asks, who has stretched the line upon it? So I think it's ironic that we're getting to that point.
I'm not trying to be sacrilegious, and I don't think they meant that literally. But I did it over a couple hundred feet, and then I did it over like almost 600 feet, and it just didn't match up to what they said. Okay, yeah, their hindsight's 20/20. They could say, yeah, well, we didn't say that. Yeah, well, I had a whole panel of people, including a professional who knew better, and they're all laughing at me, saying that over 60 feet it was going to sag down a foot. And this guy's a professional. They brought in a professional just for that. He joined the panel just for that. And I got a whole panel laughing at me. And I stretch a line on live, almost 600 feet, and show them that you can't even visually detect. I had to get my auto level out after the video just to even detect a few inches of sag, and that was not even fully tightened. And so it didn't match up with what they claimed. Whether the calculator did claim that or not, you know, everybody predicted. All the Globers predicted one thing, and they were off gross.
Not all of us.
And so I did a couple hundred feet. I did like almost 600 feet, and now I got the line of one simultaneous line long enough to do a decent distance. And so I'm gonna do it. You know, talking's one thing. Let's see it, and let's check it in the water. I'll do it above the water. I'll do it on top of the water, and I'll do it below the water, man. And let's.
I'm thinking that there's like a variable that we can calculate pretty easily, and that would be the weight of the string versus the tightness, the tautness or whatever, as far, and then subtract the gravitational, so-called.
Well, if you do it underwater, you're going to add weight to it.
Well, hear me out. My original idea was to sink it in the middle
and buoyancy, right?
And do a transition where
and buoyancy
on a globe it's going to go down, and on a flat Earth it'll go up. But if we think about this, if we can't get it to do that, which I think we will be, we could add floats every certain distance and have it floating on top of the water just barely, and then pull it tight and measure the buoyancy at each point. If the water's curving, it should take more buoyancy to raise it up in the middle than it would on the ends. But that's just kind of thinking further into it. Just food for thought. But there's a lot of things we could do with this test. But it has to start somewhere. And I'm your Huckleberry.
Well, I got to say one thing, and I'll mute for a while because I've been talking. But like they hijacked the word science, right?
Yeah.
And I'm not going to change this or try to change it to a religious view. They hijacked the word religion as well. I mean, what it boils down to in practice is nothing more than based off your beliefs. And in the world that we all live in, the individual life is based off nothing but beliefs. I'll just leave it at that.
I think I agree with you, but here's where I would say, and tell me if you agree with it. Otherwise, I don't agree with you. But I think they took the definition for the word science and changed it for a religion. So they just, God damn it, my phone's ringing.
All right, I
would agree with that. I would agree with that.
Who's saying that stupid shit?
Yeah, I'd agree with that because there's some high-profile
science and religion are opposites of each other.
That'll tell you that there's some high-profile scientists' names that will tell you, and you can probably just YouTube Google it. It's called scientism.
But science and scientism are different things.
Hold on. Or mad scientist. A mad scientist is going to bring forth a hypothesis and get pissed when it's proven wrong. So he's going to, do what NASA does and do everything he can to prove his hypothesis. That becomes religious. The practice of it is no different.
What he said was in the Bible? Does it say stretch a line, or does it say stretch a tape measure? What does it say? That is funny if it says stretch a line over the earth.
It's Job 38. Job 38, in that chapter, it's a short chapter. He asks Job, when talking about the earth, who has stretched the line upon? Whereupon are the foundations thereof fastened? Declare if thou hast understanding.
Well, hey guys, on that note, we're gonna call it a night and go through final thoughts. So let me just run down the list here. We'll start off with Jeremy at the bottom. We'll come. Oh, there you
go. Yo, hold on, yo. What is this? Final thoughts?
Yeah.
Everyone check that crypto thing out. It'll help out a lot. Everyone makes a few bucks, and if you get people to, if we get a bunch of referrals, this is like quit your job money right here for a lot of us. A lot of people want into Bitcoin, and help support the show for Brandon. All right, have a good night. Thank you.
Thanks, Jeremy. Bob Dole. No. Okay. SE.
Thank you, Brandon. Another good show, with the exception of our friend, what's his name again? Rumpus? I'm just kidding. But other than that, good show. Thank you.
Thank you, SE. Appreciate it. Paige.
Yeah, great show, Brendan. No matter what these guys say, no matter how long they keep saying the same thing, they're never going to show the geometry behind what they claim, because they say level is curved. So they don't even understand that what they've done to themselves is stop themselves from ever being able to show their curve at all, because their curve is level. So I don't understand what they're hanging around for, but we can keep trying.
Thanks, Paige. You changed your name, Mike Roddick.
Mike Rodick. I wonder whether you'd get it. Yeah, good show, man. I've been in and out a few times, so I haven't, but I've been trying to get in the last few minutes just to put a mind thought together, really, and that is, if we have this centrifugal force that is allegedly lifting the seas 20 kilometers, which is 12.5 miles, I believe, around the equator, surely that same centrifugal force would have some sort of effect on a plumb bob, would it not?
Or a person.
Plumb bobs could never ever reach plumb if they were being diverted by centrifugal force out towards the equator. Sleep on it and see what you think. I think it's a hidden proof.
All right, thanks, Brian. Matrix.
Okay, mate. Take that.
Yep. Matrix.
Hey, what do you guys say about some of the Glovers saying they can prove movement, or with the ring laser gyroscope? Have you guys heard of that crap?
We have, yeah. Let's. We're going through final thoughts right now, but we can talk about that right afterwards.
Oh, sorry, man.
Oh no, that's all right.
Brandon.
I just got here, by the way.
Good
Thanks
show,
for having
Brandon.
me.
Thank you for having me, brother.
Thanks, Matrix. Howard.
Yeah, good show, Brandon. Thanks.
Thank you.
Shout out to
George. James. Oh, there's
Now, in
George.
response to Mike about his spheroid, is the point that he's missing is that if the Earth did start with as a perfect sphere, the centrifugal force causes it to squish at the top and bulge out at the equator, and it has stopped doing that, which means it's in equilibrium. So the surface of the Earth now is such that you'd have a component of force that is directed towards the North Pole that counteracts the centrifugal force that has a component to the equator, and so they cancel, and the plumb blobs work just perfectly fine.
George, don't listen to that micro dick or whatever his name is.
Thanks, George. James.
I would just say, if a person is going to adhere to the scientific method, then it does keep you from being biased towards any philosophical point of view, religion, or anything. Yes.
Thanks, James. Global virus foe. Effie Fairy Tale Extraordinaire.
Yeah, what's up? Yes, listen, what Brian just said about the plum box.
Get them worried. Get them
Yeah, I'm totally gonna get it. Because listen, Brian, we already discussed that on Osays, and we came to the conclusion, together with you, that the deviation of the plumb bob would be so minuscule that it doesn't really matter. And we gave you a way to calculate this deviation, and it was up to you to do it and find it out for yourself and discover how small the deviation would be. But of course, you're in here now pretending that conversation never happened, because that's just the way you are. Pure dishonesty. Well, there's one more thing.
Optics will always be wrong. Always.
Never forget that. Thank you.
Thank you.
It lifts water 12.5 miles.
That's your turn, Brian.
Hold on, guys. Chatterix.
What's happening?
What's up, Chad?
Yeah, good show. Y'all were talking something about the moon earlier when I first came on.
Yes.
I wanted, yeah. Anybody that watches the moon, I'm not going to go into a whole thing about it. It'll take too long. But if you watch the phases of the moon, just keep an eye on the craters on every phase of the moon. Those same craters move across the moon. I got pictures of almost every phase. So anybody that looks at the moon and just watches it and takes pictures of it, just keep an eye on that. Thanks. Good show.
Thanks, Chad. Brian Mabbott.
Yes, sir. Sorry, sir.
What? Me?
You're trying to get 2 turns. What the fuck? Brian Leakey.
No. Hey, shout out to Micro Richard. Yeah, watch him on Rumpus. I had a video on Flat Earth Test, but yeah, I got to concede to Rumpus when I was doing the square with the circle, and the math dictates otherwise. Because if you take if you say the diameter of the Earth is 8,000 miles and the round stretch over it's 12, okay, it doesn't scale exactly to that. But I made a video. I will concede to that. Mathematically, he was right on that. But if you take the measurements they give us, okay, and they give us multiple measurements for one, and you get multiple results, and the measurements they're using are for a perfect sphere, a perfect circle, and we're told it's not a perfect circle. If you take the measurements they give us as far as the latest surveys and the best new surveys, then we get over about over about 10 miles or 5 miles. I think it's about 60 or 80 feet different, because, or you could get a different answer any way you do it. If you do the exact math and you only go like 3 decimal places past, well, 5 decimal places, 3.14159, then you get exactly what Rumpus said. You get the curve is shorter than the straight line. That's why he accidentally said that until he looked further into the math. So the math can be deceiving, but as far as the exact math, if you keep going decimal places, you will get that the curve is barely longer than the chord. But are we living on a perfect sphere? Or are we living on a sphere at all? But I do got this line coming, so I'll do a preliminary, and I'll present it when I get the results, and we'll go from there. I don't think it's going to be just as easy as stretching it, and there's the proof, but it'll be another one to pile on to, like with the laser tests and all these other tests that supposedly don't prove the Earth's a plane. I think any test we can come up with that we can do, let's do it and keep piling on the evidence. Maybe we'll come up with something. But great show, man. And I like having the Rumpus on, man, for a while. He makes for an interesting show, whether we're right or wrong. You know, he don't ever admit when he's wrong. George will sometimes. I don't mind admitting when I'm wrong, but God, it gets under my skin sometimes. But hey, we got to humble ourselves sometime when we're wrong, man, and admit. But good show, Brandon. Thanks.
Yeah,
Thanks,
Brandon, can I say something?
Sure.
You know, when we calculated the difference between the arc length on the surface and the chord length, I came up with an easy number to really remember on this as how insignificant it is. If you measure along the surface of the Earth 1,000,000 inches, which is about 18 miles, the difference between that and the chord is 1 inch.
Okay. Thanks, George. Bandsaw.
Yeah, just want to acknowledge Rumpus's convoluted idea of pulling a line over, I think it was 6 odd kilometers and using the stag calculation to calculate the Earth's curvature. Well done, Rumpus. I'd like to see that one in reality. But yeah, good show, Brandon. Good show.
Thank you, Bandsaw. My final thoughts. Thanks, everybody. I appreciate the panel for coming on. It was a good show. And I'll be back to record. I think Good White Light wanted to ask something about some kind of gyro. Ring laser gyro. So maybe somebody can answer his questions about that. We'll see you tomorrow night. Same time, same place. And see you later. All right. Thanks, everybody. It didn't turn out to be too bad a show for not being very prepared at the beginning, but it all worked out. So that's cool. Anyway, have a good night, guys, and we will see you tomorrow. Bye.